This is The Gorge. It's a podcast where all of us get together and gorge ourselves on what's happening in the world of video games and entertainment.
The Gorge is brought to you by Patreon. That's patreon.com/thegorge, where for just $5 a month, you gain access to not one, but two entire podcasts. $5 gets you Takeout, a monthly commentary track where Ben Sattard, Oates, and myself all get together and we watch something hopefully bad and talk over it and are hopefully funny. Results may vary. And $2 gets you everything else. It's any other additional content. You pay $2, you get all of it. Congratulations. You must be so happy.
Last month we did Ralph Bakshi's Wizards, which was a spectacular time. And this month,
great.
Which I imagine we'll still be doing before the end of April, has been promised to be something stinky, but I have no idea what it is.
I'm looking forward to it, whatever agony it is.
Yeah, I'm very excited. It'll be fun.
And you can find all of that and more at patreon.com/thegorge and kick in however much you can. We appreciate every single dollar. Thanks.
All right. So, what have we been up to?
This is going to blow your mind, but it feels like FF7 just continues to eat my life.
Finishing 7 Rebirth did not free us from the beast.
It turns out I am still lashed to the yoke of Final Fantasy the 7th one. So I've been streaming that, and obviously if you want to know how I feel about that, you should go watch the stream. That game is still good, as it turns out. Imagine that.
They made 7 of those sons of bitches.
They made 7 of those whole sons of bitches, and then they made many more. A lot more. 9 more.
9 more.
Thank you.
9 more.
I can't do math. I dropped out of school.
Definitely only 9.
Yes.
Definitely only 9.
Not including spin-offs.
That's correct.
And not including
doesn't.
not including Final Fantasies, where it has a number, but then also it has a second number because we live a lie.
Yeah.
And then also not including the fact that there's probably like 9 Final Fantasy 7s just on their own. Don't worry about it. Additional Final Fantasy 7s. Yeah, exactly.
There's
More
a reason
Final
why
Fantasy.
it's called the compilation of Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah, exactly. And then other than that, what else do I have to speak of? The only other big thing is the Fallout show, so
Yes.
we'll talk about that as a group. And I finally, I told myself I never wanted to finish The Next Generation. I literally have not watched the last episode of Star Trek The Next Generation ever. Because
You've been sitting on that beast for a while.
I've been sitting on that beast for a while because I just knew I was gonna cry because I just didn't want it to be over, right? So it's kind of like you ever do the final dungeon of some video games because you're like, well, it's gonna be over after this, so I just won't do it, and then it'll never end.
All the time.
Yeah.
I've never done that on purpose, but I understand the sentiment.
Yeah. And that's what I ended up doing with The Next Generation. And Oates and I finally watched All Good Things. It's great. It's a great finale. It's super good.
I hate when something calls their last episode All Good Things.
Yeah, I was a shambles at multiple parts because I was like, I don't want it to be over.
I pointed and laughed and clapped like a seal anytime I saw Q.
Q is great in the last episode. They finally bring back Q's gay little judge outfit, which I loved. And made it even more obvious than ever that Q's just kind of in love with Jean-Luc Picard, which, get in line, buddy.
Yeah.
I
You
love
and
that
what
Q's-
army?
You and literally everybody else.
Whenever Q shows up anywhere, it's just that Q is in the series because he has fallen in love with the captain.
Correct. I know Q's in Voyager too, isn't he?
Yes, Q
Yeah.
appears. They bring back Q a lot because Q is one of the only characters that you can have conceivably appear without stretching Voyager's premise to the breaking point.
Yeah. Actually, Oates has started watching Voyager while I work.
Yep.
So every now and then I get to stick my head in and see Voyager. I don't really have a lot of context for it right now, but I'm enjoying it.
I'm sad you've missed out on any time there is an Ensign Kim and
Tuvok?
Lieutenant Paris episode.
Oh.
Because it's literally Final Fantasy XIV, those two guys show up.
Oh, that's funny.
They're insanely remarkably gay for each other.
Uh-huh.
This is my part of me talking about what I've been up to. I've literally just been watching Star Trek if I'm not working.
Right.
But anytime those two show up, it's literally just Paris walks over to Kim, just kind of puts his hand on his shoulder and goes, "Hey, buddy, are you feeling okay?" So, just centrally rubbing him.
Fellas, is it gay to give your fellow crewman a loving and gentle touch on the shoulder?
And I love it for them because Tom Paris is like, he is Star Trek Voyager's legally distinct Nathan Fillion, right?
Okay.
And Lieutenant Kim is the most normal man who has ever existed. Lieutenant Kim is like violently normal. He literally, it is a shocker that he is a main cast member on a Star Trek because his hobby is being normal.
His hobby is just being a guy.
It's like early TNG O'Brien and season 1 Riker had a relationship.
I see, and just made the most normal man ever.
But also imagine early TNG O'Brien was part of the main cast.
Yeah.
Like just every 15 minutes or whatever, you cut to this guy who's just being really normal.
Yeah.
And having
being
measured responses to things.
Being expressly the most milquetoast man alive. It's so funny.
Good for him. Somebody's got to be sane around here.
I will say at least, because I know it's probably not any time on the immediate future docket, considering the sheer volume of Star Trek we consume.
Yes.
But Oates, whenever you get to the Tuvix episode, you have to pull Sara away from whatever she's doing. So that is
100% the plan. The second I notice and realize what we're getting into, I intend fully to run into the room where Sarah is working and go, "Sarah, drop what you're doing. The hot lesbian is here."
I'm really looking, because when I was working when Oates got to A Fistful of Data, aka the best episode of Star Trek ever made, and I immediately was like, "Oh well, she's watching A Fistful of Data. Excuse me, I have to drop work to go watch this again because it owns." I
started laughing so hard that I pissed off both the dogs.
It was great, yes, because the finale, the final joke of that show is immaculate. And then what else? So we finished. So that means I gotta eventually get back to Deep Space Nine. And that's it. The end of The Next Generation was really good. I guess now I can watch the movies because it's not totally over.
Yeah, you saw the movies.
But I know most of those movies kind of suck ass.
Yeah, you can see the movies where there's a bit where Star Trek has ATVs, and it's just because
Patrick Stewart
wanted to drive around on an ATV in the filming of the movie, so they put in an ATV bit.
The good thing about the movies being bad, Sarah, is that you aren't motivated to watch them, which means it's never really over.
That's right. It'll never be over. Is Nemesis the one with the hot Borg queen?
I believe she shows up in 2 of the 3.
Okay.
I believe Nemesis is one of them, at least.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I do want to see the sexy Borg queen, because I'm just hot robot lady. I see,
Yeah.
I am but a woman. And other than that, the only thing I've remarked to talk about is Fallout. So yeah. How about you, Saturn?
I haven't done too much remarkable over the last week. The only thing that I would say for I wouldn't say for group watch related. Well, 2 things. Mm-hmm. First, I don't think I've mentioned it on here yet, but just to touch base with everyone, I've fallen back into my old filthy habits and have been playing Destiny 2 again.
I'm sorry.
No, buddy.
That's been going well. I don't really have much. I don't really have much to say about it. I have been mercifully not horrifically no-lifing it the way I used to.
That's good.
But it's fine.
It's Destiny. It is your destiny to play Destiny.
Yeah, that's right. The other thing is that because I don't know what motivated me to do this. I think it's because I didn't mention this. I don't think I'm not done with the series because Netflix just doesn't have all of it for some reason. I finished watching Inuyasha on Netflix.
Oh, nice!
Nice.
A month or so ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I still haven't seen the end because there's a bunch of conclusion stuff, and I don't know if that's it's in movies or if there's just more episodes they never put on or whatever. I don't care that much. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I got through whatever amount of hundreds of episodes of Inuyasha there are on Netflix, and nothing happened.
Yes, very important.
However, I still have a gnawing hole in my heart for Adult Swim anime dub nostalgia from bygone days. So I have committed to and have made a significant progress in watching Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah!
I've been ripping through that over the last week. I think I'm more than halfway through the show at this point. I'm in like the later parts of the Dark Tournament arc, which has been fun.
You might be farther along than you think. I think Dark Tournament is like it's enormous, but it is just one single ending arc in the same way that like Chimera Ant mostly is, and there's an epilogue arc afterward.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have assumed that, but when I looked up how long Yu Yu Hakusho anime is on the internet, it says it's 112 episodes.
There is an arc after the Dark Tournament arc.
Okay. Yeah, but it's relatively like short. It's bite-sized.
I mean, I'm near the end of Dark Tournament arc. I'm on like episode like 56 or 58, right?
Okay.
We're for the old heads, we're halfway through what is supposed to be the finals. Presumably, someone's going to fight one of the Toguro brothers in the next episode. That's about where I'm at.
Okay.
It's been fun. It's weird to watch an anime of that specific age because it's like one of the things I've been discovering about it is that it was made at a point in time before Japanese TV had legislations about photosensitivity.
Yes, very much so.
Did.
That is a headache-inducing TV show sometimes.
Yeah.
Even more so than Dragon Ball Z, I think. Yu Yu Hakusho is all about bright auras and multiple lights flashing at the same time.
Mm-hmm. There's an episode where Hiei and mysterious masked warrior are trapped in actually not an episode, multiple episodes is part of the problem, where in the background of the fight they're trapped in a electrical force field. And boy, let me tell you, that is a strobe effect on the ones.
That's just great. I love that for you.
So I've also been watching it, but like I said a while ago, I'm committed to watching it only when I work out.
That makes sense.
So I'm not nearly as far along as you are, but I have made some significant strides recently. The one thing you mentioned this on Twitter, the one thing I also agree with you that I love about Yu Yu Hakusho, fights with jobbers don't last long.
Yeah, they're insanely fun.
There's a lot of action shonen in modernity, especially where it's like, oh boy, it's a fight, time for a thing that's going to be either a full episode or like 3 episodes, and that pacing is pretty consistent through whatever thing you're watching, right? Yu Yu Hakusho has like this tremendous disparity of this fight that's supposed to be big, epic, and stressful is like 3 or 4 episodes. This fight, which we have done a decent job of pretending will be a real fight, is over in half an episode.
Today I started an episode where it was the mission where they're rescuing Hiei's sister.
Yes.
And they're hyping up the triad, the 3 demons under the Toguro brothers' control that are
the strongest 3 demons in the black market or whatever.
Yeah, and then
every single one of them just gets horribly rinsed immediately in the span of 1 episode.
Yusuke beats one before the commercial break.
Okay.
Just like, we're gonna fight, and she's down.
Because it is also, it is one of the things that, especially before the Dark Tournament arc, that Yu Yu Hakusho has done a lot, which is very funny, is there being things that are obvious signals of, no, Togashi did not want to draw this, but the anime sometimes going like, well, yeah, obviously, we're in the Genkai Tournament arc, right? Here, it's time for the Genkai Tournament. All these fights happen in the dark, and you have to use your spirit sense to be able to track each other, which is code for Togashi didn't want to fucking draw it.
So we're gonna do a tournament, so everyone who isn't Yusuke and Kuwabara gets to have their fight off screen.
Right.
We have a tournament that's supposed to be like 8 people. We winnow that down to 4 people in an episode.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Great. I love it. Yu Yu Hakusho is good for quick fights and great fashion.
Oh yeah.
Everyone's drip in that series is amazing.
Also, I gotta say, because this is something I had not really had any mimetic exposure to or like any memory of, because like all the stuff I saw on Adult Swim was like a lot earlier. Like I don't think Adult Swim I saw anything that was like after the Makai Insects arc, right? Like I never saw tournament. I never saw the Dark Tournament on Adult Swim or whatever. Kuwabara's older sister whips ass.
She's great.
There needs to be more characters in anime that are... I don't need Asuka knockoffs. I don't need Rei knockoffs. I need Shizuru Kuwabara knockoffs.
Yeah. I love her. She's great. All the civilian women are great.
She's just this, like, sleepy-eyed, sardonic, deadpan girl who just doesn't give a shit and is also like, well, yeah, I'm involving myself in the plot because I have better ESP than my little brother does. I'm still not going to do anything. I'm just here to watch, but, I'm not bothered by anything at all.
I love the bit where they're trying to cover up the tape with the Makai insects. Or no, it's for Kuwabara, for Hiei's sister. And they're trying to cover up the tape they're watching. She's like, why are you watching that movie about, like, weird mansions and stuff? They're like, oh shit, you can see that?
Yeah, it's just like, and Kuwabara's like, well, I guess she is my older sister. Because Kuwabara's thing is that he's, like, the big dumb meathead. But also, like, he has better ESP than, like, literally anyone else. Yeah. So he's just constantly spiritually aware of things, which is great. I think Kuwabara is also just a really top tier, like Luigi to the Mario, right?
The decision to have Chris Sabat do that particular voice.
Oh, that's also Chris Sabat.
An immaculate decision.
Yeah, his voice is great. I really love it.
You're a Meshi!
You're a Meshi!
you
can't say no T-boy swag just because you're short, you're a Meshi.
You're a Meshi! You know who else can detect ghosts? My mom!
I was waiting for it.
I have to imagine that when they were designing the characters for regular show and they got to Muscle Man, they were like, who can do the best Kuwabara impression?
That would make sense. That 100% tracks to me. I will. Only other thing I'll say about it is it's one of the few anime, much like Inuyasha actually, where I break my dub sub rule of if it's set in Japan, I watch it subbed. Because I need that era of dub acting. It gives it a certain quality that just makes me, like, comfortable and happy.
The dub is so rock solid for Yu Yu Hakusho.
It's great because there's, like, a mix of, like, extremely stilted bad performances from, like, this, that, or the other person, but also the actual voice casting itself is really spectacular. Oh
yeah, no, it's great, and they do a lot of, like, great localizations that give all these characters, like, a lot of personality.
Yeah, like I actually was reading because I this will be a shocker that Saturn likes the bit character who's ambiguously a cat or fox girl.
Oh, I see.
But I was looking up because I'm certain that she's not important for anything. The announcer from the Dark Tournament, Kodo. And what I found out about her is that the thing where she's like, you know, she's a spunky wrestling announcer, but because she's a demon, she's like super pumped up about the bloodshed or whatever. Is only in the dub. In the original text, she's normal. Like, she's just a very normal, sincere sports reporter of, like, the usual variety. And for the dub, they went, no, she's a demon. We have to make her a bloodthirsty maniac. And I love it.
It's kind of like how in, like, all the, like, in Dragon Ball Z, like, the dub adds so much more context.
Yeah.
Like, there are multiple scenes in, like the movies, especially for, like, the DBZ movies, where in Japanese, like, nobody is talking. But in English, they're like, no, we should probably explain what the fuck is going on so people know. And it's just like, oh, okay. That's extremely funny.
Yeah. You also get great lines like, don't you lecture me with your $30 haircut.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I always love that, honestly. Like, it's a thing, like, that there's times where it hasn't worked for me. Like, I think, like, I watched both, like, the original language version of Castle of Cagliostro and the Ocean dub of Castle of Cagliostro, and I don't think the Ocean dub of Castle of Cagliostro is very good.
No.
And, like, some of the things they do in it are just like, no, that didn't need to be there. You could have just left that. They can shut the fuck up. It's okay. I get it. But I think Yu Yu Hakusho is extremely helped by some of the weird editorial decisions they make in the localizing. They just go, no, this needs to have more character than it did.
Yeah,
I think it benefits from being more high energy than the original work was. In much the same way that I think Digimon benefits from being a dub, because as much as I hate Saban, the Saban dub of Digimon is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I've noticed that Yusuke just does Joss Whedon clips, like one or two, like every single fucking episode, and I'm like, God damn.
there's a great bit where he's complaining about during the Genkai arc, where he's complaining about coming back to life and immediately being eaten by a fish.
Yeah,
the last thing I'll say about it, because I don't want to take up too much. This is the only thing I have to talk about this week. It is extremely obvious to me now, having seen a lot more of it, how much Hunter x Hunter is Togashi going, no, I want to second pass it at this idea or that idea or that.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many things he just plagiarizes from himself, but it goes, no, I'm going to do it better this time.
Yeah. Hunter x Hunter is fantastic as a sequel series to Yu Yu Hakusho, despite having nothing to do with each other.
Despite having zero connection, besides the fact that the protagonists are both kind of fucking psychotic little Japanese boys wearing green outfits.
I love the dub, at least, constantly reminding us that Yusuke is 14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the narrator of like the pre-episode like amble will always like 14-year-old spirit detective Yusuke Urameshi, and I'm like, yeah, keep reminding us that he's only 14.
Netflix has actually been automatically skipping a lot of the outros, which makes me very sad.
That's a bummer, because like having the outros be in character is like super good.
Yeah, I did notice that, because there are bits where it's like, it's usually Yusuke talking, but also whenever there's a long sequence where Yusuke is out of commission for several episodes, they'll have one of the other characters do it. Which is very funny to me. But yeah, that's really been my week. I got some games that I meant to play before this and didn't, shocking no one.
Fair.
That's me.
That's fair. Ben, how about you?
I did a couple things. I started and beat Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
Oh, nice.
Stellar.
Did you like it?
It is a very solid 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Metroidvania is a good genre for Prince of Persia.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Like
that
made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
The only the things I would complain about are the plot is really nothing.
Right. It's just paper thin.
It could have either done with more cutscenes or less characters.
Oh yeah, it's one of those.
Because the idea is that you aren't even playing as like the prince. You are playing as a new member of a group of mercenaries called the Immortals. And you are tasked with protecting the prince, and he gets kidnapped, and you go through the big time dungeon where the Metroidvania part takes place.
Right.
But and it turns out, the rest of your members of your thing are betraying you in various sundry ways. But it's like, there are too many members of the Immortals for me to care about the Immortals as a whole.
Right.
Well, the quick answer for that is to reduce the plot. So, obviously Dr. Wily reprogrammed the 6 robot masters, and now you must face them all.
Right. Or you just do less characters so you can focus on like the handful you've got. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But as far as gameplay goes, it's very solid. The combat feels really, really good.
Okay.
The traversal is excellent. It's a Prince of Persia game, of course. It would feel good.
Right, of course. That's its whole thing.
There are like a few things. So there's some cool abilities. Like one where you can leave an echo of yourself in a certain position and then press the L1 button again to warp back to that position. So like if you have to stand on like a button to make a platform pop out, you jump above where the platform will be, make the echo, and then go stand on the button so that you can warp back to it when the platform actually appears.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And you can use that in combat to avoid like shockwave attacks.
I'm always doing this.
Because you place it in front of the shockwave, run back. When the shockwave passes your echo, you warp to the echo.
Oh, that's It's fun.
Yeah. And that's really cool. You also get like a really cool like grappling hook that you can use to like launch yourself, and like when you do so, you gain back your double jump and air dash, so you can just stay in the air perpetually as long as there's a
You're
grapple point.
chaining it. Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
But weirdly enough, there's not a wall run.
What?
Yeah, like
bizarre.
It's a Persia game.
Your air dash has Sargon run on the air like he's doing the Sands of Time wall run.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't run up a wall.
That's weird. That seems like a thing you should put in your Prince of Persia video game.
Right, like that seems to be like the way you would get, like like vertical progression on a wall, right? Is
right.
Like you can wall jump and you can like wall jump away and then dash into the wall to gain momentum, but it feels like that wasn't really intended.
Right.
Yeah. So it's weird that it seems like it's something that you would want to include but didn't. Like there's it's kind of the same thing I have with problem I had with like some of the roguelites I was playing recently, where it's like I'm not getting enough cool shit.
Yeah, like you should be getting more cool shit. Yeah,
like you play a Bloodstained or you play a Super Metroid or something, or a Metroid Dread, where it's like you're getting enhancements constantly. Like you're getting like a dozen different abilities, right?
Right.
In this one, you kind of only get like 6 or so.
Okay.
But it still feels really, really good. Sargon himself is a really cool looking character.
Sure.
So I hope that like they can make another one where he shows up and does more cool stuff. Yeah, if you like Metroidvanias, check it out. It's not mind-blowingly genre defining, but it's still pretty good.
It's solid, right? Like that's the whole thing, is that it's just solid.
Yeah. Okay. I also watched Pan and Coke's new video.
What is this?
I've heard Pan and Coke did a new video. I hadn't watched it.
Super Mario 64's Invisible Walls Explained Once and For All. It is 3 hours and 45 minutes long.
Yeah.
3 hours?
3
Almost 4
hours.
Almost 4 hours. 3 hours and 45 minutes long. I started it and got distracted and never came back because I was like, you know what? I don't need to know about it. Actually, as it turns out, I don't actually need to know about... I don't need 3 hours, almost 4 hours worth of information about Super Mario 64's invisible walls in my head, actually.
I think Pan and Coke is some kind of wizard or perhaps a Methuselah, right? A sorcerer of Eld or a mystic ancient I think such knowledge is to be left to the realm of gods and not in the hands of man.
It's far too powerful.
I've recused myself from that video, but I respect its existence.
That's why he's a wizard and not a druid.
Yeah.
It is
Druids have mysteries.
Fascinating.
Okay.
It is enthralling.
I'm just afraid of it because like the video where he explains QPUs was only like 20-25 minutes long. I don't want to know what special kinds of psychopathy he can like burn into my neurons with 3.5 hours to work with.
The reason that it's called Explained Once and For All is because he is very intentionally gone through every single possible permutation and answered every conceivable question a person could have about invisible walls in Mario 64. He explains all 8 types of invisible walls, how each of them happen within the game mechanics. He shows every single example of them in the game.
I don't like how Ben is excited to talk to us about mysteries that mankind was not meant to know. Like, no, you gotta understand. You gotta read the Necronomicon.
You are spreading dangerous knowledge this way, my dude.
This is a cognito hazard, is what you're giving us.
Well, someone had to do it. Citation needed.
Oh, don't worry. Pan and Coke has a citation for that. He's done the research.
He's done all of the possible research that could ever be, or ever will be, or ever has been. It's really impressive.
It is an impressive piece of work that he has gone through and explained all of them. For the most part, the invisible walls are just caused by the 3D models not intersecting with their vertices correctly. And so because of that, it leaves gaps in the floors where the object is supposed to touch the ground. And so it's all just out of bounds planes that are leaking through these gaps in the vertices.
Oh.
And they get treated like walls, so you just have a chance of randomly bouncing off something because it's like, oh, you're not supposed to be in here.
Oh. That seems insane.
It's insane.
I like that Super Mario 64 is a video game held together mostly by prayer.
Yeah, no,
and
it's...
dark magic.
When you see the sheer number, like when you go through the sheer number of invisible walls that exist and where they are located, it's like, how the fuck did this happen?
Why does this video game work at all? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely incredible, mind-blowing, change your life and your perspective on the world of game design documentary.
Okay.
The only other thing that we did, speaking of things that redefine your perspective on core concepts, is it was my birthday last week, so Melissa and I were hanging out, and I decided to have her start playing 13 Sentinels.
Yes!
Good for her.
Because I was like, because the only way I can experience 13 Sentinels again is vicariously through another person, you know?
That's correct.
So we started doing that. She's enjoying it a lot. She's still very intently like focusing on the plot and not really like reacting to things because she's just piecing it together. Like the gears are turning.
As you do.
The only thing right now that I'm disappointed on is that she really likes or she's doing really well at the strategy game element of it.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of hoping that she'd be like, I don't want to do this, Ben, you do it. Because I really like the strategy game part of the game.
I see. You had
unfortunately, Ben, that part of the game was designed really well and
it was designed super well. Is the problem?
Didn't they add an eternal mode or something?
They added
that's been in there. That's actually been in there since the beginning, I think, or at least it was there.
No, they put out like not a DLC, but like a patch where they added like the thing where, like, you know, when you lock on a non-Sonic game to Sonic and Knuckles and you just get blue spheres forever? They did that for 13 Sentinels, like, missions.
Okay.
Where it's just like, here's like 10,000 missions or something.
Okay.
Yeah, it's literally procedurally generated, but increments up to 10,000 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Like an insane number no normal person would ever get to the end of.
Sure.
Except I know for a fact people had, because I looked it up and someone had, and they're psychos.
Yeah.
It took a million
that makes
years.
sense. Yeah, of course, there are people who absolutely do that.
But no, it is fun to go through 13 Sentinels again, and all the stuff that I forgot about.
There's a lot in that game to forget, because there's a lot in that game.
That video game contains, like, multitudes. It is so packed with information.
Right? It's insane. I'm like, I don't remember you existing, character.
Yeah, the problem with me not having my PlayStation, like, either my PS4 or my PS5 now, is that the only way I can experience that game again is on my Switch. And it's like, I don't want to play that game on the Switch.
Well, that's what we're playing it on.
How's it run?
Great.
Even the battle sequences?
Yeah, We've had no problems.
Well, tell me, when you get to the final battle sequence, let me know.
Okay.
Because that's the one where even on my PlayStation 4, the game was like, no, we're just gonna take off like a jet plane now. Goodbye. Yeah. Right? Like my fans started spinning like fucking crazy and the frame rate dropped.
I think it's also on PC though, isn't it?
No.
Oh,
Vanilla does not put their shit on PC.
Yeah, they famously are, like, someone asked, like, hey, when's the new one? When's Unicorn Overlord coming to PC? And the publisher is like, we'd love to, but that Vanillaware has not made a PC version. Has not told us to plan to make a PC version. So we're not until they do that.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they'd do it too. I can't imagine why they don't.
But also when we were playing that last, I was like, oh yeah, Vanillaware, Amazon.com, Unicorn Overlord, and buy.
Yippee.
All right, yay! Well done.
So I will be next time we get together. Probably talk a little about Unicorn Overlord.
Oh,
yay!
good.
I need to play that game too because I do have a Switch and I can play it on that at the very least. So
I need to get that at some point. I haven't had the muse for it yet, but it's like it's a Vanillaware game, so I want to.
You have to buy all Vanillaware games. Yoko Taro told us so.
Otherwise, the company will explode.
That's right.
I actually need to find out if they ever did the if they ever put Odin Sphere Life Drauser or whatever the fuck on Switch, because I can't play it on PS5 now because I don't have one of those.
Right. I bet they did. I mean, like, Switch is what you put everything on.
But, like, I heard that Odin Sphere remake is really good.
Yeah, I heard it's great.
Maybe if I'm a good consumer and I buy the Odin Sphere remake and 13 Sentinels on Switch and Unicorn Overlord, maybe they'll remake Muramasa. Maybe.
Oh, yeah, and let that be playable on anything other than a PS Vita emulator.
Yeah, or the
Wouldn't
Wii.
that be great?
Vanillaware to look at you.
I know. Or the Wii emulator if you're feeling saucy. Although I think the Muramasa release on Vita was like an expanded release.
Yeah, it was because that was I think that one was a Boro Muramasa or something like that.
So yeah, you have to just play it on a Vita emulator.
Yay!
Now that Persona 4 the Golden is on PC, it's the only reason to own a Vita emulator. To even have one on your computer is just so you can play Muramasa. I think that's it. I think there's like no other reason to have a Vita. It's fucked up. It's sad. That console was cool.
There is one.
It could have been
ahead
better.
of its time.
There is a Yakuza spin-off series that exists only on the Vita.
Well, that's not for Sarah. Sarah doesn't play Yakuza games. That might be for Ben, if Ben wants to do that to himself.
I'm not. I'm giving my Vita to Dave next time he's in town. Because he wanted to play something on it, and I'm like, well, I own Golden on PC now, and they're putting P3P on PC.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't ever want to play Freedom Wars again.
No.
Yeah, I don't need this anymore.
The main thing I wish I still had a Vita for is because it will be still probably years before this HD remake comes out, and the remake of the first game was not very encouraging. That was the only platform I had in which I could play Front Mission 3 on.
I see. Okay.
And I really wanted to do a playthrough of that game, because that's one of those, like, that's like one of those all-timer insane PS1 games.
Right.
And like I wanted to play it, and like I can emulate it. It's a PS1 game, but like I like having the console experience.
Yeah, of course, it's fun to have it on like an actual console too. I still have, though, I will admit, I do still have my Vita TV. It's the size of a pack of cards, so it's really hard to lose. You just put it on your shelf, and it's like, oh, there's my Vita.
Does the shop still work on it and everything?
I don't know. I haven't plugged it in literally years. It might not even work anymore, but I need to find out.
Yeah, so if you get a chance, check for me, because it's one of those things, like, there's some part of me that, like, if I could get a Vita TV on eBay for, like, less than $100, I would fucking think about it.
Oh, yeah, it's super worth it, like, because it also is a good way to, like, for a long time, it was before they did the Chrono Cross remake, like, you could buy Chrono Cross off the old PlayStation Store and just play it on your Vita, right? And so, like, I had it was basically just my JRPG machine, right?
Yeah, that's all the Vita was good for.
Yeah, I bought it for, like, P3P and Persona 4 the Golden, and I think I even had, like, P2. I had one of the P2s on there.
Yeah, because they did a PSP remake of the original Personas at some point.
And, yeah, like, I just had a ton of JRPGs and shit on there, and it was great for that, honestly. Like, so, I do need to check and see if that store still works.
I would love to know. Let me know if
I will let you know. I will tell you. Is that it, Ben?
That's it.
Except for the big thing, which is we watched Fallout.
Let's talk about Fallout.
Well,
Fallout's really good.
I don't think Oats got to talk about her week.
Oh, Oats.
What? No, I did. It was me talking about. Well, I watched Star Trek. I watched
Oh,
the Next
right.
Generation.
Yes.
And
Oh my God.
I started Voyager.
I forgot you started first. Sheesh.
Yes.
Well, never mind. Let's continue.
Let's talk about Fallout.
Talk about Fallout. Fallout is really fucking good. Surprisingly. Very surprisingly. Fallout is extremely goddamn good. I was not expecting it.
Once again, like One Piece, should not have been good.
The show that should have been the biggest dog shit of all of them, like the Halo show should have been a slam dunk, the way the Cowboy Bebop show should have been a slam dunk.
Yeah,
right?
the Cowboy Bebop and Halo, those 4 shows should have been flipped.
Right. Like the Halo TV show should have been good because like the games are already pretty fucking cinematic, and like the Bebop show should have been good because, you know, again, it's very like, you know, obviously inspired by like John Woo and shit. But instead, it's the One Piece show that's good for no goddamn reason, and the Fallout show, which kicks ass.
Halo and Cowboy Bebop slipped out on a banana peel and fell down a manhole.
Yeah.
So that One Piece and Fallout could walk.
That's
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, Halo and Cowboy Bebop are the human bridges that Fallout and One Piece walk over.
The soldier taking all like the knives and bullets to the back. It's
Yeah.
Halo and Cowboy Bebop like taking everything.
We need to waste all this bad writing on something.
Right.
No.
It's so because like Cowboy Bebop should have been the ultimate slam dunk, and
Right.
it was bad because that's not a show
easy.
that's not a show you really have to do anything complicated for.
70% people sitting in a dark room.
Right.
Yeah, like we used to make Star Trek. You can make Cowboy Bebop, right?
Yeah, and they just they super fucked it up, and instead, we got an extremely good Fallout show that I like. The first episode is weak, and then after that, it's just like, oh, okay, this just kicks ass. All right, it's fine.
And
we
honestly,
still
like
even the first episode we enjoyed.
It was
Yeah.
really good.
yeah, like I understand that it's been kind of the popular consensus. The first episode's weak, and it's like I feel like people are just impatient.
Yeah.
People are just that's
Like-
true. It does
Like, damn, the
start
first
slow,
episode's
people are
really
impatient.
confusing, doesn't make sense, and it's like, well, yeah, man, watch the rest of the show.
Yeah, they will explain what happens. It's called progression.
Right. Like
It's like that one meme where someone's constantly asking questions in a theater or whatever, or like, does the dog
yeah.
die? It's like, have you ever consumed media to
Yeah.
learn what happens in it before?
yeah. It's really crazy. Just like, I don't know how compelling the whole thing is because like I really like my biggest thing when they told me about the Fallout show was that, for one, obviously like entertainment media loves to frame things as in the worst way possible every time.
Yes.
So they're like, it's gotten an origin story for Vault Boy, and it's like, no, it's not. It's about how like Vault Tech had a failed fucking like spokesman before they had to replace him for hanging out with communists, and they replaced him with a cartoon character who still does the thumbs up thing, right? Like that's it. That's the origin story, right? Like
It is at most an origin story for the thumbs up, but he's not even the guy who invented the thumbs up.
No.
Right? Like, that's just him doing... Like, you learn in the first episode, it's just him doing something he was taught to do.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just like, okay, that's why. And like, the, so they mentioned that there's going to have, pre-war stuff in the show. And I was like, I don't know. The pre-war stuff in Fallout 4 is so bad and so boring. And then like, because it doesn't, because you can't stay in it for very long, because Fallout 4 is not super interested in talking about like how fucked the pre-war America actually was. But like, this show is super into it. It's so like on the nose about just like how everything sucks.
The first episode does that great job with the kid's birthday party. Mm-hmm. And the minute someone turns on the TV, the mom is immediately going to switch the channel to something that's not the news, right?
Right.
Because they're all on edge at this point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We see them nuke LA, and it's like super haunting and horrifying.
Yeah, and it's great. There's just so many like really good scenes just in the whole, like all of the pre-war stuff is really solid because it's about like specifically how like like before the bombs dropped, America was even more explicitly just like a fascist imperialist project, right?
I extremely love the phrase that happens, I think in episode 2 or 3, where where Cooper Howard turns to his buddy, like the writer, and goes, "Really? Cadillac Charlie, a communist?" Like the phrase "Cadillac Charlie, a communist" is just like burned into my brain.
It's
like
so good.
Peak Fallout.
Yeah, it's just like, it's extremely about how like pre-war America is just this extremely fascist kind of project that exists entirely to like win the resource wars, right? Like they even bring up the resource wars in Europe and England and stuff like that.
It's they do such a great job with the pre-war stuff of, oh, this is all happening to someone else though.
Yeah, this is somebody else's problem. We're rich.
Yeah.
It's not our problem. And then it's like, oh, actually, it is extremely your problem. You're the source of the problem, as it turns out.
It reminded me of like watching all the pre-war stuff. Reminded me of the World War Z book, where one of the survivors was talking about how right when it was actually going on, when things first started going badly, it was referred to as, quote, everything that's happening.
Right.
You know, just you know, the things that are, you know, all that stuff.
All that stuff that doesn't concern us. It's fine. Yeah. It's not going to happen to us.
It's not on our doors like, oh, our neighbors were communists, but that's them. That's capital T them.
Right.
So
and yeah, it's just like, it's so good about like interacting with all of that stuff that Fallout, you know, especially the Bethesda Fallouts, is just so always been so like afraid of really sinking its teeth into.
Yeah.
And this show does such a good job of it, and then, you know, kind of bouncing back and forth between the two timelines is a good way to show like the whole war never changes shit, and how things are always kind of gonna be the way they are, and like even all of the like the world building shit that everybody is, you know, was bitching about for days on Twitter and stuff. Like, I don't care that the NCR is gone. Like, I don't care. I'm sorry, I don't care. I guess because I don't have that much of attachment to it. But like, the whole point of the NCR was that they were America too. They were always going to go away. Like, yeah, some fucking rube at Vault Tech got mad because his wife was fucking another woman, and that's why he blew up Shady Sands. But like, the NCR was always going to collapse, right?
Right.
And there's
that
also
was the whole point.
Like, and even then, there's also the thing where it's like, well, yeah, they blew up Shady Sands, quote unquote, / the Boneyard, which it should be, but you know, Shady Sands. But it's like also some like kind of, the NCR might still be around, just not there.
Sure, exactly.
You know, it's like there's quite a lot of things where it's like, I think, especially early on, people's nerves were very touchy, because when you have like, and I think there is part of why they ended up afterward coming in, like clarifying, like, no, we're not decanonizing this game. This thing's still here. This thing is just, we didn't get a chance to really do anything with it in the show. But it's one of those things where it's like, I think there's a lot of frayed nerves at the beginning, especially when you have things where it's like, well, hey, what does it mean that the NCR collapsed before the beginning of Fallout New Vegas, and then in the end, when you get the teaser of going to New Vegas, it's completely empty and dead. Like, what are you doing? And like, and one of the things that they can talk about later, it's like, well, no, the reason that it's that like that is because it's like 10 plus years later than that, and we hate the idea of the idea that the thing I mentioned is like the only thing that never changes in the wasteland is the wasteland.
Right. Exactly.
Everything else is ephemeral. And so like, yeah, it's 10 years after New Vegas happened and New Vegas is dead. We'll get to it in season 2. It doesn't mean that it's a different continuity or whatever. It just means that like things broke bad.
Things went bad.
Because that's what happens.
Sure. Because nothing lasts in the wasteland. Everything collapses. And like, because that's the whole point, is that like societies like rise and collapse in the real world all the time, and the only reason they're kind of propped up in the real world or in the pre-war world is because they're propped up by like, giant global capital.
Yeah.
Right?
Which
but in
you
the
don't have
post-war
in the
world, that
wasteland.
doesn't exist. Like that it exists in the form of like a handful of like cousin fucking Brahmin barons and stuff out west, right? Like that's
Right.
it.
It's
like
I'm glad the show came up with a global justification for why we're still in shacks.
Sure.
Right? I don't agree with it necessarily. I think we should be allowed to progress at some point, but like there's a justification for it now.
Which is that it's not that people never move past shacks, it's that it never lasts for long.
Yeah,
right?
Because Vault Tech will blow you up.
Well, because also even aside from what happened to the Shady Sands / the Boneyard, one of the things that I noticed that's like kind of like this in microcosm is like we spend like the first like beginning, like the first few episodes, first half of the series, like with Philly being the big town, right? You're going everyone's going to Philly. We're going to Philly.
Yeah.
Right. And you have a bunch of things meet up in Philly and then people disperse and like you get the sense that Philly is like a real place because you see tons of people there and they're like doing businesses and they have homes and shit.
It's very Renaissance Fair-esque.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the series, it's just been obliterated.
Yeah.
Right.
Like not even by the bomb, like the Brotherhood just rolled in and fucking killed everybody.
Yeah.
Because they can.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And it's like, it works for the whole thing of like, yeah, no, all this shit is ephemeral. Like, the only reason we have any idea that Vault 4 might last into the future is because we decided to give back their fusion core that we stole.
Yeah.
Right.
If we didn't, it would be gone in a week.
Right, exactly. And like it keeps being the thing is that like everything repeats. That's the whole point of Fallout kind of in general.
War never changes.
Yeah, everything this shit has happened before and it'll happen again. That's the whole point. And like there isn't much you can do to stop it except try to do something that's never been done before, right?
Oh.
And most people are unwilling to do that, right? So
bringing up Vault 4 just gave me another brain blast.
Give me a brain blast.
So, why do they give back the fusion core?
Mm-hmm.
Because Lucy says to Maximus, if I saved my dad, but he knew I had destroyed an entire community to do it, he'd never be able to look me in the eye.
Turns out he'd be super cool with it, actually.
Yeah.
Well, as long as she's helping out Vault Tech.
Yeah, that's true.
The other brain blast I'd had for the listening audience is the realization that in like episode 3 or whatever, when Lucy and the Enclave guy are leaving town and he has the extremely bad like prosthetic foot and they walk past Dr. Chicken Fucker and he's like selling serums to cure foot pain, to restore missing foot. To do this, and it's like, oh, it's a joke of him just being a desperate salesman. And then later, he does actually have the cure of foot repair. He does it to a guy. The serum turns him into a ghoul.
I want to say 2 of the best additions to the lore of Fallout are in this show, which is Jim's Limbs and Plan D.
Yes, Vault-Tec Plan D is extremely good.
Yeah,
it is really funny. I had my own similar brain blast just now when we were talking, like. Of course, even after all of the events of New Vegas, regardless of what ending you pick, it looks kind of, if not abandoned, at least like looks a lot emptier and like a big battle happened there because the Battle of Hoover Dam 2 happened, 1, and 2. If the NCR got nuked, there goes almost all of their capital that kept New Vegas afloat.
Right. Like. No matter what ending ends up being like the ending for season 2, it's all bad.
Yeah.
Like it's either Independent Vegas, which always collapses. It's either NCR Vegas, which if the NCR is like, if not gone, then unable to sustain Vegas, then like the city itself collapses because it doesn't have any more tourists, which is what it lives and dies by. Or if the Legion can takes Vegas, then that's also bad, right? Like that also does not turn out good for anybody. So like no matter
Listen,
what, yeah, New
Could you
Vegas
imagine if
is kind of
Caesar's
fucked.
Legion wasn't season 2?
Oh, that'd be
I hope
great.
So
I'd have
They-
so much fun seeing everybody in football gear.
yeah,
Apparently, actually, they did, by the way, say, yeah, we're going to have Deathclaws in season 2.
Good.
Good.
They showed that skull because they're like, we wanted to do it for season 1, but we didn't have anything to do with them, and that's like a really expensive thing to make.
Yeah, same reason why you don't have super mutants at all. You just have one green arm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm not 100% sure, but I kind of want to believe that it's a red herring that I can't remember the kid's name. Not Maximus, the other kid.
Lucy?
No,
Thaddeus?
Thaddeus.
Oh.
I think he might have been given FEV, not ghoulification.
It'd be funny if he
because I think it'd be really funny if he came back and he is just the biggest, strongest,
I
nerdiest
would-
brute you've ever seen.
What I would love the Fallout show to do is to, because it did a good job with the Brotherhood of establishing, oh yeah, one guy with a suit of power armor can just tank a city,
right.
right? Like the only reason the ghoul won that fight is because he knows how to sabotage power armor, right?
Right.
But like one suit is all you need to just steamroll like a community.
Mm-hmm.
I want that same thing to be done with like one super mutant or one Deathclaw,
Yeah.
because it doesn't take long in 3 New Vegas and 4 for you to be like, oh, there's like 10 super mutants here. That'll take me 15 seconds.
Right.
Yeah, even in Fallout 4 especially, it's like one of the first things you do by the time you're like 3rd or 4th level at most is kill a Deathclaw.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I want to put some upper thresholds on some of these like long-standing enemy types.
I also, because I know we're going to be staying in the West Coast, I want desperately to see a lot of West Coast mutants again. I love
smart
this.
mutants.
But
What if they brought back Michael Dorn?
Yeah.
and I think they will do the thing you suggested also, Ben, because also like they made a single gulper a multi-episode threat.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was really good.
And it was a really cool gulper.
It was an extraordinarily cool gulper.
I also really love the changes to ghoulification and feralization.
yes.
Because I love that, because it was kind of like hinted at and rumored for a while. It was kind of set up with Hancock and 4 of like taking a super drug to turn yourself into a ghoul, right? So I'm glad that's kind of like establishing itself more and more here too, where it's like you can take a drug to ghoulify yourself, and you can also take a drug to prevent feralization.
Right.
I think they might actually be the same drug.
They could be.
Because they're both inhalers and they're both like kind of like a pea yellow fluid, as I recall. I think it's literally just you have to keep taking it to not turn into a ravening monster.
The harshness of slowly turning feral. I love the bit where people on the verge of feralization will just start repeating their name over and over.
Like as a way to try and keep themselves grounded.
Yeah, to like desperately cling to anything they can remember about themselves.
Ghouls are sad.
They
Ghouls
are.
are
They're
sad.
very I'm glad they've emphasized the tragedy of going feral.
It'd be
Yeah,
cool
because
if we
like
get to
a
see
lot of the
maturity
games,
again.
like being a feral ghoul is just you had bad luck.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's never like it's always just like, oh, you got turned into a ghoul. Either you're immediately a zombie, or you're like normal. But in this one, it's like the
Right.
thing of like, no, there's a maintenance that is difficult to keep up with, and if you don't keep up with it, you will very slowly lose your mind.
Yeah.
I just really would love I keep saying it, I would love a Fallout 5 where you can pick your race, and picking ghoul is just hard mode, right?
Yeah.
You just
I
have
love
to,
that
because you have to find like maintenance drugs and stuff like that. I think
you
that sounds
can't-
fun.
Like you can't turn survival mode off.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
I think
Right.
that sounds fun. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, no, everything that this show, like all the little touches in this show that just make it, like, I love the lack of dignity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is an undignified TV show.
These
No.
characters are severely lacking in dignity and pride.
No, and it's just like, I don't know, the whole show just handles the tone so well.
Oh, perfectly.
Yeah, it juggles like the Fallout tone really well, where it's like when it needs to be like extremely grim, it can be extremely grim, and the rest of the time it's just like horrifying, like dark humor.
Yeah.
Right? And it's so good. Like it's just really good. I was just so, I don't know, I can't get over how well done it is.
Lucy is an incredible.
The chicken.
That guy fucked that chicken. Lucy is so good.
She's an incredible protagonist. Oh my god, I love her.
I love the audacity to have a scene where you lock your two like main leads in a room, like people who have like some romantic sexual tension or whatever, and just one of them immediately goes, "Hey, do you want to have sex?" And the other one goes, "You mean use my cock?"
Yeah.
I love
and then he and then completely ruins it for himself by making it extremely obvious he has zero sexual literacy.
Yeah.
He's never fucked once in his life, and
because
like,
we were like pointing out like in episode 2 when you first see like the Brotherhood barracks and there's one guy just jerking off in front of everyone else.
just
and
under a blanket, just going to town.
And then like 5 episodes later, it's like, oh, they don't know anything about anything.
They don't know what sex is at all. There's no sex ed in the Brotherhood. Are you kidding me?
Because it's a fascist religious order. Why would they teach you that?
And the thing is, okay, one other thing is that like the fact that people on Twitter or on Reddit were like mad that the Brotherhood is now a fascist religious order. I'm like,
what do you mean now?
Yeah, I'm like, hey, do you know what the U.S. military is?
Did you play
hey, did you play Fallout 1 or 2?
Yeah, no.
Even if you didn't, hey, how does the Brotherhood show up in Fallout 4? They fly their Death Zeppelin over and say, "Do not be afraid, we are here to take control."
Right, like, what do you think the Brotherhood... Do you think they're the good guys? Oh no, you think they're the good guys.
Oh no.
You played Fallout 3 first. I mean, I played Fallout 3 first, but I also have the ability to learn.
Yeah.
So,
that's, I think, a significant part of why the show is good, is it doesn't have... I mean, to be broad, I shouldn't lay this all at the feet of Emil Pogliarulo and Todd Howard. I know they don't make every decision, just most of them.
Just most of them.
But the show understands how you should feel about the Brotherhood.
Yes.
Which is to say, yeah, they're kind of surface level cool, but they're extremely horrible, and also they're all basically brainwashed children.
Yeah.
Right,
Even the 40, 45-year-old ones are all basically brainwashed children.
Right.
You when you first meet the real Titus, and he's not saying anything, and he's like, he, throws his pack into Maximus's arms, and like, they're climbing on the thing, and then he's like, "Clean this cod piece," right? And then you immediately realize he's just a jock.
He's just a dumb jock. He gets owned by a Yao Guai instantly and runs, like, pissing himself in fear.
Yeah.
Because he's just an ineffective little, baby.
He's trying to act cool.
Right. And he's fucking, he just picks on the little guy the way, Thaddeus even says, like, yeah, we pick on Maximus because otherwise we're gonna be the ones getting picked on, right?
Yeah,
that's just how it happened to us. I sure hope he finds someone to pick on. I wish he had found someone to pick on before he died.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, oh, okay, so that's just how that's how it is from like the whole like organization, like from the top down, right? Like that's just how the Brotherhood like functions. Is you just find somebody to pick on, and it makes you look like a big badass.
And it's like, again, back to the whole, like, lack of sex ed or whatever. It's like, well, yeah, why would you teach them to procreate when the whole thing is basically just built on adopting, like, wayward children and turning them into child soldiers?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you can't do that if they have a family unit that isn't the Brotherhood.
Right.
Right.
Like,
we're your family now. That seems kind of like, kind of cultish.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
It's very funny when Maximus is in Vault 4 and he's like just very bluntly calls it a cult. Like, yeah buddy, you know what those are? Interesting.
Yeah, dude.
Or like at the end when he's like being confronted by the Elder, right? Or the head scribe or whoever the fuck he is, and like basically being confronted with all of his worst impulses, and the head scribe going, "Those worst impulses of yours that constantly got you in trouble and were reflections of your moral failings are the things that make you a Brotherhood soldier among Brotherhood soldiers.
Yeah.
Right.
They're the things that prove that you are right to be wearing that shithead Titus's armor."
You're basically like saying like you're just like that shithead Titus, and you deserve to wear that armor, like, good or bad, right?
Yeah, derogatory.
Right.
Yeah, it's great. It rules.
It owns. It's so good. It is funny. Todd Howard is credited as a producer, and Emile Pagliarulo is credited as a co-producer. I can't believe they even let half this shit get in, but you know what? Cool. Maybe they'll get a real writer for Fallout 5. They probably won't. But
they should scrap whatever plans they have for Starfield and go full tilt in Fallout 5.
Unfortunately, they legally cannot. They have sold people those expansion passes already. Mm-hmm. They have to deliver something.
Listen.
They also have to finish Elder Scrolls 6 because that is still like their biggest.
Well,
like, as big as Fallout is, like Elder Scrolls is bigger.
There is, speaking of Fallout morality, there is a difference between doing the legal thing and doing the right thing.
The thing is, though, Sarah's right, because let me put it to you this way. They have an ongoing Fallout MMO and an ongoing Elder Scrolls MMO. Mm-hmm. One of them can still go every, like, year or two. This is a brand new $40 expansion pack.
Yeah, and people buy
it, and it is continuing to go. Fallout 76 cannot make its expansion content mandatory cost you money. It's just not possible.
No, the gulf in sales between Skyrim and Fallout 4 would blow your mind. It would disgust you, because like that's just what Skyrim is. It's Skyrim.
I know this, but listen.
Uh-huh.
I want Fallout 5.
Ben, do you know how many copies Skyrim has sold?
And they sold enough. They don't have to sell anymore. They're good.
Yeah, but give us a number.
62 million. 62 million copies of Skyrim have sold. That's why they're prioritizing Elder Scrolls 6, because they would like to sell 62 million.
Also, they announced that game 6 years ago, so they better be working on it.
Yeah, they announced that game 6 years ago and didn't start working on it, as I understand, until relatively recently.
Yeah, so because they had to finish Starfield, a video game nobody likes and wants.
Oops. So we gotta get past all this blockage to get to Fallout 5.
Yeah, I'll be lucky if I see Fallout 5 before I'm 40. I think.
Yeah,
I know.
And we're not gonna,
unless they get someone else to make it.
Yeah, there is a non-zero chance now that they're owned by Microsoft that Microsoft is seeing what a big fucking hit this TV show is, and they're going, oh no, somebody else is making Fallout 5. Yeah.
The problem is, and this is on the docket, with like the boost of sales that all 3 active Fallout games have gotten because of the show is like Microsoft would be, I mean, they are stupid. So don't get me wrong there. Yeah. Would be stupid to not be like, push out a trailer. Do a trailer at Summer Games Fest. Do it now.
I just really hope that Fallout 3 remaster is real.
That would know what, I would take that too. If they did the here's Fallout 3 and Fallout 4's engine, that'll tide me over for the time being.
There's a reason they very specifically shit canned that mod.
Yeah.
Like somebody, like there was a team of people working on Fallout 3 Capital Wasteland the way that people are ostensibly making, Fallout 4 Capital Wasteland. There's also, a group of people making Fallout 4 New Vegas, which is remaking New Vegas in the Fallout 4 engine. That hasn't gotten shit canned. But Fallout 3 did. And
so we can only hope.
So I think they're working on something, but they really need to announce it.
Yes.
Soon.
Yeah, that would be preferable.
That would be ideal.
I don't know if I would buy it or not.
I'm a rube.
I
would.
I would not.
I would if they just put the Fallout 4 Shack building in Capital Wasteland. I would buy it.
Here's my thing. Here's what would do it for me. If we confirmed it was possible and did it, if we got Tale of Two Wastelands, that was Fallout 3 and Fallout 4.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
That would be cool.
For me, it's literally like I don't think they would release like a remaster and not do it, but I wouldn't put it past Bethesda to just do Fallout 3 and Broken Steel, but they didn't release any of the other DLC.
Yeah, I don't know.
I could see that.
No, I don't think... see, here's the thing. I think it occurs to me, you know what? Mm-hmm. They're totally doing a Fallout 3 remake. Because one of the Fallout 4 Creation Club things is a mission where you find a Riley's Rangers fucking thing, and you actually fly a vertibird to the fucking crashed out courtyard ruins of Galaxy News Radio and do like a whole fucking combat encounter in the Galaxy News Radio building.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which means they're directly making efforts to remake Fallout 3 content in Fallout 4 as far back as like a few years ago when that came out.
They're making assets.
I think it'll be the full game. It'll be Game of the Year edition, right? It's going to be all of it, because then they can also sell even more new DLC, which they almost certainly will do.
Yes.
And they are in the middle of release. I think like today they released that new Creation Club kit that is
Enclave.
Not only Enclave, but it's also like jam packed with a new radio station, a quest line, and a new dungeon of some
It's
kind.
like a new
I believe
isn't it?
I believe all the Creation Club stuff on it already existed, like the new armors and things like that. But they just they did, because they also did this for Skyrim Special Edition, right?
Right.
Where what they did for that is they basically just went, no, like all the Creation Club content, or at least like all like the really big cool shit, is just part of the base game now. And for this is they went like, we took all the Enclave stuff and just made it part of the base game.
Okay.
And like put in some extra wrapping to like tie it together and make it feel like a proper like one of their DLC releases.
Also they need to put out a remaster of Fallout, like a remake of Fallout 3, because they need to get Eleonora to actually do her damn job and make Fallout outfits.
That's correct.
Instead of burdening her with Starfield asset making.
Yeah, exactly. They need to let Eleonora just do her job.
It was so funny seeing things in Starfield and just going, Eleonora made that.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I know who made that.
It's like, oh, there's a design here.
Yeah, or like she specifically hired not just to make outfits, but also to do interior spaces. And every now and then you'd walk into a room and be like, I know what you are.
Yeah.
You have this thing that you do where you put like, this is way more posters than a person would have.
Right, exactly.
Right.
It's like, I see you.
There's a live, laugh, love sign here, and it's like framed in a way where it's actually supposed to be like an interior design, like photo, instead of just being a joke. That's an Eleonora.
That's
Yes.
correct. God love her. She is a Pinterest girly who just makes Fallout mods. That's not me ripping on her. Good for her.
Yeah.
But I know what you are.
I would say I am certain that the only differentiator there is between you and Eleonora is whether or not you make Fallout mods.
Yeah.
That's correct. If
one of you works at Bethesda.
That's right. If I ever wanted to like take the time to learn Fallout modding, for one, it'd be fucking over for me. You know, like my life would literally be over. And for two, I would also be working at Bethesda now, so don't worry about it. Maybe someday.
Well, hey, you know what they say. Best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago, but second best time is tomorrow.
That's right. Maybe someday. That's true. We got off topic. Fallout is a good show. All of this to say, it's a great show.
They do such a good job of not just capturing the spirit of the tone, you know, but what it feels like. This is how you translate a Fallout protagonist into a world, because she has stats. She fucks up her rolls
constantly.
Yeah.
When you start the show, it's literally a character creation, because she mentions 3 skills that she has tagged. And her background.
Yeah.
Yes. She's literally doing the character creation screen.
She also she's also naming the special stats too.
Yeah. There's the bits where she does things like agree to sever the guy's head, or you know, demands to give back the fusion core. Those are choices that you would make in that quest.
Right. It's just like, oh, I want quest writing like this so bad.
Like they got the assignment. They really did.
Yeah.
And like
there's
a lot of it where it's like, okay, the assignment being got here was that they did a bit from another Fallout game, like very directly. And like, you know, that does to a certain degree, like you can give so much credit, right? But it's still like, you didn't just do the lazy thing of copying this directly and just going, hey, do you recognize the thing? You like made a real story that feels like all the best parts of those stories and is written the way the best parts of those stories are written, then you made it also an entertaining to watch TV show.
One of the things, there's a couple of things, that details in it that are just like, oh, they knew why that was important to do. Like the thing with the ghoul actually adopting the dog and calling her dog meat is not just it's the thing from the games that you've played. It's because they set up that Cooper loves dogs.
Yeah.
Also, they set up that he's calling her dog meat because he's understandably goes, yeah, if anything happens, I'm gonna eat this dog.
Yeah.
Right. You're just emergency rations, dog, right?
Like they set up why that, like they set up, they didn't make it just like a reference like, oh yeah, it's you gotta have a dog. It's they set up like, yeah, it's a character point that he likes dogs, so he would show a soft side to a dog.
After shooting it, but that's fine.
Yeah, but
this is a guy who would get a dog and think to name it dog meat.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It was just it's just great. The fact that like, the only thing, it was funny for like the whole show. I'm sitting here like, this show is great, but are we really just doing another I gotta find my dad plot? And then we found dad, and it was like, okay.
They love to have you find your dad in a well, specifically a Bethesda Fallout game, I guess, but you know.
But you find your dad, and dad fucking sucks instead of is played by nice and kind Liam Neeson. Dad fucking sucks ass, turns out. Oops.
If you can't get Liam Neeson for the Fallout 3 HD remake, have you considered recasting him with Kyle MacLachlan?
You could do that too.
You could totally do that. Please do that.
I would not.
You should do the Fallout 3 remake and actually just completely change the plot so that your dad is fucking evil.
You should change the plot so that the plot is good instead of bad.
That's correct.
It's a Bethesda Fallout. No one's going to care if you retcon
Nobody's
it.
going to notice. It's fine. Nobody's going to care if you made the plot good instead of bad. In fact, we'll appreciate it.
And if you do notice and you do care and it does make you mad, I'm sorry. Get better taste.
Please.
Also, there's like still lots of things in the show where like they put something and we thought like, oh, maybe this is something that we'll find out more about later. And then it was left unaddressed in a way where it's like, oh, this could come back in an interesting way. Like, we only get the one sequence that takes place in the Enclave, like, setup.
Yes.
Right. We don't know. Like, we thought for a while, like, oh, they're going to get to Vault 31. They're going to find out Vault 31's Enclave. And they kind of, like, that's something they teased at. And then it's not that at all. It's like a Vault Tech cryostasis thing. And it's like, well, then what the... what are the Enclave doing here? What's their involvement with this, that, or the other? Like, and it's like, no, you can find out later, maybe.
Have fun in season 2, fucker. We still don't know what actually happened in Vault 32. Like, we don't know why they all killed themselves.
Well, we kind of do.
It's hinted at, but like
they imply something, but it never it never is like a thread that is resolved.
But there is also like blood on the walls that says we know the secret overseer. So
yeah,
but like why would they kill each other over that?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as we've all discussed, like established in previous vaults, the security is always in on it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. This is not a show that I think has really displayed any kind of like expectation of any kind of source familiarity to be able to draw a conclusion like that.
It was still kind of a spooky moment when they closed Chet in Vault 32 with everybody else, right? Like, Chet looks at Norm and realizes, like, as the doors are closing, that he's super fucked, right? And it's like, well, that's because Chet knows what happened in 32. So it's like, okay, well, something else happened in 32. Because, like, also you have Steph, like the eye patch girl who had a baby.
Yeah, Steph.
Nadine.
Steph. She, she's from 31. So, like...
That means she's a weird pre-war person, and we don't know anything about what she was like pre-war.
Right, we didn't see her.
Because they don't address that because it like again like you don't find out it's a pre-war thing until later, and it's only now and thing like, well, wait, we spent the entirety of 31 assuming that 31 was like some kind of enclave thing or like an actual like coordinated control vault and not just like a cryostasis repository for like Vault Tech bigwigs, right?
Right.
And now it's like, well, who the fuck was Steph?
Right.
Because she couldn't be someone's kid. She's someone from pre-war because that's how that works. So who the fuck is she?
So yeah, I'm extremely excited for season 2. I'm extremely just excited to see where all of this is going.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's going to New Vegas, but you know,
Yay!
But there's a lot of as in New Vegas itself. There's a lot of routes to get to New Vegas.
That's right.
Some of them have death claws. If they do, we might see. What if we see Cazadors?
What if we see
see Night Stalkers?
My only hope for season 2 of New Vegas, beyond the really obvious stuff of like, I hope this thing from New Vegas is in it.
Mm-hmm.
I hope Jackie Daytona comes back somehow. I hope we get Ghoul Jackie Daytona.
Yeah. Also, I want to see Prim Slim again. I always make him sheriff, so
Yeah,
That makes sense.
I want to see Prim Slim again. That's my one request. Thank you.
You could probably do that easily. You could probably do that without too much CG as a practical effect.
Yeah, I think it'd be great. I'd love to
the-
see a practical Protectron.
I love the idea of them just kind of like it's just a single scene gag of them just slowly walking through the abandoned town. The roller coaster's in ruins; it's barely there anymore. And there's just a single lone sheriff cowboy just kind of walking around, going "Halt, intruder!" And there's just a skull.
Howdy.
It's just a Deathclaw skull.
Yeah, howdy,
Yeah.
partner. Yeah.
I love
Okay.
Fallout.
I hope we see the statue of like the NCR guys shaking hands, but it's collapsed and the arms have fallen down, so it looks like they're jacking each other's dicks off.
That actually
That would
seems
be good.
extremely likely.
Again, good. The good, immaculate framing of shots, and they knew what they were doing, which is when Lucy and Max have their big kiss, and the severed heads they're holding are also kissing.
Yeah.
And that guy from Portlandia is just opening his little crate door, and he's going, "Ooh,
Ooh.
Ooh, smooching. Yeah.
Great radio DJ, by the way. Great
that
character.
whole set is extremely funny.
Yeah,
the great
trying-
radio DJ who earlier in the episode tells people not to come visit and just to write a letter if they don't like his music, and then you get to his house and it's covered in the corpses of people who've walked into his colossal, oversized bear traps and mouse traps.
Yeah, cartoonish. Like spikes and giant mouse, like obvious mouse traps and stuff.
It's so funny.
Like, it is genuinely, you see Lucy's Wild Wasteland perk activate when you arrive at that scene.
I love that. I was right, by the way. I looked at it afterward. That's the Minutemen radio violins playing.
Great.
That's just
I'm so
Minutemen
glad.
song, and
That's cute.
the joke of everyone is sick of hearing them, which is because if you do anything in the castle, that's all you hear.
You only hear the same like 4 songs over.
And also,
over
because again,
forever.
like, his versions of those songs are like, it's funny because they have this whole conversation where he's talking about like the audio quality stuff, and clearly Thaddeus doesn't get it. But also, his versions of those songs are in terrible audio quality.
Super crunched.
They're super squeaky and crunchy, and like they barely sound right. Just playing them constantly.
Yeah.
And whenever anyone goes to his radio station to complain, they get killed by a giant bear trap.
I wanted to see like a giant boulder that had rolled down a track, and there's just like flattened corpses underneath it.
Oh, it's so good. Okay.
Okay.
All right, we gotta move on. We still
Yeah.
have news to do, and it's already been an hour and 20.
We do.
So we have to lightning round this shit.
Marvel Rarvels PvP shooter boasts incredible lineup of Marvel characters. They're making a Marvel Overwatch.
I'm so sleepy.
I know it's gonna be bad. I know this is a universal. This is nigh universal. Any Marvel group like team up crossover thing is only as good as its Spider-Man design.
That's correct.
The exception, of course, being Midnight Suns, but
Right.
this has a bad Spider-Man design, so I am not enthusiastic about it at all.
It also has AI art in it, so I don't care.
No,
Also,
Sarah, it's not AI.
Oh, it's just bad.
It just looks like that.
Oh.
Also, here's the thing, like, the Gundam Overwatch clone already died in ignominy. Even Overwatch can no longer really be Overwatch.
Yeah, no.
Like, it is not the cultural touchstone nor moneymaker that it used to be. Because everyone kind of realized that sort of content and gameplay model isn't, like, good. I guess, because that
Yeah.
shit doesn't make money anymore, and you
No.
can't milk people for enough to make that kind of support for a game worth it. So this is just gonna, like...
Die
this-
on, or, like, it's dead on arrival.
Yeah, this is gonna happen like what happens with a lot of the Marvel games, which is it's out for, maybe 6 to 12 months, and then there is an end of service announcement.
Yep.
That's correct.
The only cool thing of note on it is that they are putting Penny Parker like front and center on the first wave of characters.
That's cute.
Well, of course, Ben, they have to steal Diva somehow.
Yeah, that's actually a
correct.
really good point. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, that's exactly it, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Let it die, I say.
Next.
But yeah, Like a Dragon new title cast auditions announced.
I'm in it.
Interesting.
So they're
Yeah.
already...
NDA. I'm in it.
I guess, shocking everyone, Yakuza 9 or 8, not Yakuza 8, did well enough that they're making
Stunner.
it Yakuza 9.
Stunner, I say. Who could have
the-
seen it coming?
The best-selling Like a Dragon game of all time did enough to make them do another Like a Dragon game.
Remember there was a point in time, like 10 years ago, where it was conceivable that they might just stop making these games and that we were never going to get one come out in the West ever again.
I wonder
That was
if the
really
decision
scary,
to
right?
actually dub them made like any sort of impact on sales of this game overseas.
You mean dubbing them again?
Well, yes.
Like the 7 and 8 are the only ones they've actually dubbed, right? Like we didn't
And
get dubs
Gaiden.
for 6. Oh, well, Gaiden, but that's
Yeah.
post 7.
They
I'm like,
also did it for the Judgment games.
Yeah, Judgment is
Okay.
also dubbed in English.
because it's still like we never got them dubbed even for a very long time, but it's still just like it's weird to think that it was like one of the only early PS4/PS4 hype cycle promises that panned out, which is as part of our like what the fucking fans want initiatives, we're gonna like bully Sega into to bring these more out in the West so that because people say they'll buy them, and we'll see how that goes. And people fucking bought them.
Yeah.
People fucking bought them.
And now it's like
Turns out
one of
you
their
dub
most successful ongoing franchises.
I know, it's crazy.
This
It was
article
just the
doesn't...
perfect storm of releasing them, and then Yakuza 0 came out. I
Yeah.
genuinely believe that was it.
Yeah. The article does not have a lot of details on the casting, but it does say that it is not Kiwami 3.
Okay.
It does make sense there won't be a lot of details on the casting, so they usually make you sign like really egregious NDAs for even being like considered for that kind of thing.
And also, like, the only reason they did Kiwami 1 and 2 is because they were locked and frozen forever in the PS2 mines.
Yeah, they don't
And
need
they were
to...
they were able to save the others by bringing them onto the PC. They couldn't for
Right.
the PS2.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
So this means it'll either be a new... it might be a new fantasy, like a new... like Ishin or what's the other one?
The zombie one?
No, the other there's one where he's
Where he's Sakamoto.
yeah
That's Ishin.
Ishin.
Yeah,
But
that's
there's
Ishin.
the other one where he's Miyamoto Musashi.
Oh yeah, Kanzen, I think.
Yeah.
So it might be one of those, or it is actually just like a Dragon 9.
Right.
What
It's
if?
also like, even though they've said it's that one's not going to be Kiwami 3, I think they've said that like they are considering doing a Kiwami 3 at some point.
They
Like,
said-
they've
said-
explicitly said they're not ruling it out. I think.
The quote from Masayoshi Yokoyama, the series director, says, quote, "I'm just going to say I think we'll do a Kiwami 3 at some point. I think we'll definitely do it sooner or later."
Okay.
which is still more than like, well, no, it's on the PS3 and you're able to get it on PC, so it's fine. Right. It is
Right.
still like, probably at some point
Yeah, we'll do it.
we have to. No, I actually can't. I can't. I was gonna make a joke. I can't say it because I need Ben to see it himself.
Oh, okay.
The beautiful eyes joke? Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna get. I was thinking because I had like a lot of free time because I was like between games because Paper Mario isn't out yet, and I was like, what if I just started Yakuza 0 again? What if I just did that?
Like I said, Ben, before, if the beginning of it does still feel too clumsy to you, just try and find a PC mod that lets you play it on, like, start in New Game Plus or from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the thing where it's like I have mostly like Like a Dragon, the newer ones are like I enjoy them, like even though I'm not like I don't buy them because they're not really aesthetically my bag, but like the gameplay is fine to me, right? Because it's just an RPG. Like that's it. It's an RPG. It's a good RPG. It's fine. I've like for all the in relatively high proportional amount of ingrained knowledge I have about the Yakuza games, relative to my interest in playing them, which is to say, I've never liked a single one of those video games. I think they all feel like shit. But you can mitigate that by cheating. That's what I do if a video game feels bad. If it's like Library of Ruina, it's just like, well, I want to experience it, but also it sucks to play, so just cheat. It's fine.
Yeah. 7 and 8 will never capture the vibe of what heat actions feel like. So
Right.
I highly recommend, at the very least, just trying out some of those because they are delightful.
Oh yeah, no, I'll give him a go at one point. It's just a commitment, so I have to make sure that the schedule is free for that.
Oh yeah, every game
if you
is
think
like
about
60 plus hours.
If you think about it, Kazuma Kiryu might be a pseudo-servant because he has Mandricardo's Noble Phantasm.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which is that he can't wield Durandal, but he can pick up an object and wield it like Durandal. And immediately break it every time he does that.
I see.
Yeah.
Mandricardo could hypothetically pick up an entire Harley Davidson and club it over someone's head and it exploded into 10 pieces.
Did you know the Mandricardo Noble Phantasm is directly lifted in a reference to the Strange Fake one?
That's so
Great.
funny.
I'm not gonna say which Noble Phantasm it is, but it's great.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Next.
Next, something is wrong with the Final Fantasy XIV profanity filter on Xbox.
That something is wrong is that you shouldn't buy your fucking Final Fantasy 14 on Xbox. Are you stupid?
Yeah.
Like,
You should have known this from playing Dark Souls.
you should have known this from the start. Don't buy your fucking MMORPG on Xbox.
So here's a list of words that you are not allowed to say in chat on Final Fantasy XIV on Xbox. Yourself up. Night. Harvest dance. And class.
Yeah.
Cool.
I haven't seen if anyone's confirmed it, but I have seen some interesting speculation of like, there's lots of quests in that game where you have to type a complicated phrase and say chat.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you can't do them.
Well, I was gonna say, have they confirmed if there's any that are like broken?
I don't know yet because like I'm thinking of like the Fae quests and stuff that make you say things to Faeul. And I don't think any of those. I don't know. That'd be a funny thing to look into.
They are also players are getting banned for the phrase free company.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
they think you're trawling for e-pussy.
yes.
That's it. They're like, ooh, free company. I see what you're doing. And
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 14 is like, no, that's just what we call guilds. Are you stupid?
So, and this doesn't affect a lot of people because obviously the player count of Xbox players on FF14 is low.
Minuscule? Yeah, it's probably like 10 people.
Well, it probably was 10 people, and then all of them got banned for typing free company.
Yeah,
and now it's 0.
Microsoft, I hope they paid Square Enix a mint for this headache, because like I would be frankly shocked if they commit to like even so much as releasing future expansion packs on Xbox.
Because
by the way, this is not an issue with FF14.
No, this is an Xbox. This is on Xbox End. So if you get banned, you're not getting banned from FF14. You're getting banned from the Xbox Live network part, right? You're getting banned from Xbox. So like you'll get kicked from 14 and you can go like message 14 and be like, hey, I just said free company. And they have to be like, you got to talk to Microsoft. There's literally nothing we can do.
I guarantee you, because obviously it's all automated. I guarantee you it's literally just, we have like a stock chat GPT like auto filter bot that's trained on a set of like stock phrases and things like that. And just they put it in without making literally any attempt at concessions for like the actual vocabulary of the game.
Yeah,
no, absolutely not.
It's scanning for this combination of letters in any situation, not like if they're isolated or anything, or if they're like any sort of context or anything they're being used in.
I guarantee you it's the exact same filters that they have been using since the 360 days.
Oh, yeah.
Because it is some of the words that would get you banned playing Dark Souls.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, like... Obviously, I don't know who's playing Final Fantasy XIV on an Xbox. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? But I also don't know why they thought it was important to add chat moderation filtering shit that even the more staid platform, in this case being PlayStation, just goes, no, I mean, like, FF14 has their own moderation. I'm sure it's sufficient.
Yeah. That's the funny thing is FF14 already has this.
Yeah, FF14 has perfectly fine moderation. If somebody, like, says a slur at you in Final Fantasy XIV, you send that to a moderator, and a moderator responds. Like, they have a whole group of people whose job is to, like, deal with that. And it's just very funny to me that Microsoft is like, nah, we're not going to trust that. Instead, we're going to use our shitty chatbot.
It's like, why? Okay. Like, you have to sign in with your FF14 account anyway. Why not let them be responsible for the moderation? Like, clearly they are putting themselves in a thing where if someone misbehaves, it's their responsibility.
I think
the thing is, if you're playing FF14 on Xbox anyways, you're already a stooge because you're paying extra money to play FF14. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
silly.
Yeah, you're a rube.
I don't think anyone will ever find out if there is a quest that you just can't complete, and like an MSQ that you can't complete because you need to type something that gets blocked instantly. Because no one on Xbox is going to make it that far.
No, God, no.
No one's going to do that. Like, why would they?
Yeah, I hope this costs Microsoft a lot of money to get and have it blow up in their face immediately.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's
very funny.
It would be in character, certainly.
With Dawn Trail around the corner, they were banking on, a lot of people are going to buy the game now, and then now no one can play it.
Next.
It's very, very silly.
Yeah. Next, Fallout 4 finally receiving next-gen update just in time for the show premiere.
Yay!
Yay! All your mods are going to break!
Yeah, they have to delay the release of Fallout London because they're just like, I don't know if it's going to break shit.
So this probably won't affect like a lot, like every mod, but anything that's that's the F4SE will probably need to be updated.
Yeah, because F4SC actually has to like check against the game's version number.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll have to wait for. I always call it face because that's how it's spelled.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you'll have to wait for face to update probably. But like, I think Face still has active developers, so that won't take long.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, they'll probably have that fixed within a couple days, and then most everything should be functioning again, barring like, you know.
It's not like Cyberpunk where when they put out a new version you need to uninstall the game entirely and then reinstall it.
Yeah, because that is a video game. Like, they have mod support, but that's not a video game that was made to have mod support, right? Like CD Projekt Red is cool about their modding community. They seem very supportive of them, but like, it was just kind of an accident that it happened. Like, I actually wouldn't be surprised if 2 came out and they're like, okay, we actually have real mod support now.
Yeah.
Because people are pretty enthusiastic about modding Cyberpunk, so that's cool.
I don't know if it's in the news because I don't think everyone pays attention to it, but one of the things they've mentioned for Baldur's Gate 3 is that the next update for that is going to actually add in official mod support.
Nice. I love that.
Because they have that for like Divinity Original Sin 2, but they're like their MO is like, we'll add it when we think the game is going to be stable enough long term to not have to like constantly rejigger it.
Right. So, I am excited for Fallout 4 HD update, next gen update, because I mean, you know, it's getting to be that time again to play Fallout 4 again.
Yeah, I'm feeling the itch, especially after the show.
I'm just waiting for London because I really want to play that like really badly. It's got fucking Asterion in it. That's so funny to me. They actually just got him to play a role.
Yeah, the fish guy.
Yeah, fish guy.
Fish guy. I love it that's a guy who he understands what it takes to be a good voice actor, which is I will do any role of any amount of prestige or IMDb ability if you pay me my rate.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't care. I'll
He does
do
not
it.
give a
Like,
fuck.
if you're paying, you're paying me union rates for this, that, or the other. Yeah, sure, man. That's what I would have made literally
Sure.
anywhere else.
I'll be in your mod if you're gonna pay me. So, you know what? That's cool. Good for him. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to London a lot, actually.
Yeah. So
What's up next?
there's a lot of Dead Cells in the Rogue Prince of Persia. So they're making another Prince of Persia in the other genre that makes sense for a Prince of Persia, which is a roguelike.
Sure.
I like this Prince of Persia Renaissance as a fan of those games.
Those are Ubisoft games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're Ubisoft.
Yeah, I can imagine Ubisoft might have some reasons for going, oh god, just get some B tier secondary developer, just make tons of these, please.
Please, we need money.
They're actually doing the thing that like a lot of these big studios should do, which is put out small games.
That's right.
Like,
Yeah.
like, hey, did you know that you can put out a smaller scale game and make money off of it?
Yeah.
Did you know you don't need 3 A's on it?
But you know that they're doing it out of desperation and they're not going to learn from this lesson.
No, God.
Well,
no.
they're still going to go under suit any
It's
day now. Like, that's not...
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
you'll get some good new Prince of Persia games out of it before it
Yeah.
happens.
That's right.
Yeah.
Big fan of the art style in this game. I'm posting a screenshot of it in our chat. Big fan of the art style for this game.
I haven't looked at it, actually.
Well, if the screenshot
I am
works.
admittedly not someone with a ton of nostalgia for the Prince of Persia, so I'm like, if it's good, I'll find out about it.
Oh, I guess it's fine. It's not my thing.
Very, like, 2D animation style.
Well, this kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a fan of it.
This is from the Dead Cells developers, right?
They're French, so probably.
Yes. It's sort of.
I know.
It's from
What?
Evil Empire, which is a studio spun off from the devs of Dead Cells.
Okay, because I know they're working on that like weird 3-player roguelike thing, but also I remember hearing that they were some way involved with this other Dead Cells like, because it's a Dead Cells like.
Yeah.
They have a lot of experience making Dead Cells. They've been doing it for years.
So Motion Twin is the devs of Dead Cells, and they are making Windblown.
Yes.
And this is a studio that's spun off from them that's making the Rogue Prince of Persia.
Okay.
I wonder if they have the same organizational structure as Motion Twin or not. Because I remember the thing with Motion Twin is for a long time is that it was a co-op.
Yeah, they're just a co-op. I think they still... I don't know, like... I know that the Dead Cells guys are. I would hope that the guys who spun off from them are also a co-op.
Yeah,
It seemed to have worked really well for them.
I would imagine so.
I think there's a future for co-op game dev. Maybe not in terms of like people making like Metal Gear Solids.
Sure.
Or like Metal Gear Solid 4s or 5s, but maybe some Metal Gear Solid 1s.
I'd be okay
Maybe even
with
a Metal
that.
Gear Solid 2.
I'm just hoping that this game, it's coming to early access in May. I'm hoping it will soothe the pain of me not getting into the tech test for Hades 2.
Hades 2, yeah.
I need them to start drawing more lots. I have good computer and I put 100 hours in that first game. Give me the respect I deserve.
Let me
Please,
in!
I can do it. Let me
I know
in.
someone-
Let me in.
I know someone who got in that technical test and they only played it for like 2 hours. I'm like, what the fuck is your problem?
Why are you like this? Let me in!
I've earned this more than you.
Let me come over to your house!
I earned soul framed access. Why won't they give it to me?
It was extremely funny, actually, was listening to one of the Gigaboots podcasts like last week, and there being a pod lord who's just like, I'm so sad I didn't get into the Hades 2 technical test, and there being another pod lord who's like, I got to the Hades 2 technical test!
That's great.
I'm gonna play it, but not for long if I can get in, because because Wooly is a cautionary tale.
Right.
In which he played so much of early access for Hades 1 that he didn't play it when it came out.
That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, that's reasonable. I also, that's a big part of, I never pre-ordered Baldur's Gate 3 such to play the Baldur's Gate 3 early access, because you could play like basically the entirety of Act 1 of that game like a good 4 years before it came out.
That's fine.
Right.
And I just never did it because I'm like, I know if I do it now, I'm not going to want to do it later.
That's right. You're not going to want to redo it. Exactly. Okay, next.
Next, the internet reacts to Keanu Reeves as Shadow the Hedgehog.
Good for him.
Good for him.
Good for him.
That's also similar. He's a significantly higher pay grade than Astarion, so he can't do this as much. I respect an actor who's like, nah, yeah, that sounds fun, let's do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it, sure, why not? You're going to pay me, why not?
If
You
I
want
had
to play a cartoon hedgehog? Hell yeah.
If I had a nickel for every time Keanu Reeves and Idris Elba played opposite of each other in a video game adaptation of something, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
Weird that it happened twice, exactly. So, you know.
I hope that that we get Sonic 3 and there's a Shadow and Knuckles interaction scene in which they make something that is obviously a Phantom Liberty reference.
Yeah, that'd
That
be
is
great.
a very obvious cyberpunk joke. I feel like they have to.
I hope it's like you see Shadow, like he beans Knuckles with something, right? And he just goes down on both knees like a Terminator.
Yeah.
I just am excited that those two are actually going to get to like have their characters talk to each other.
I know.
You can't exactly have Saul and Johnny talk to each other.
It is a missed opportunity.
You can't do that one, so, you know.
The Sonic movies have done a good job of doing celebrity stunt casting, but with actors who can actually do voice acting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, that one's fine, actually. I like that the other rumor for a while was Hayden Christensen.
That would have been really funny.
Which would have also been hilarious.
I think if you could have gotten I think if you could have gotten like 10, 15 years ago Hayden Christensen, that would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like his performance now is not the same as it would have been in the Anakin years. But like he would have also been a really good casting.
I agree.
And also, I know I do gotta stress this. Keanu Reeves does sound like the world's oldest 15-year-old 50-year-old.
That's correct.
Yes.
It is very funny to have a Sonic like movie where 3 of your main Sonic characters, who are all kind of defined as being like traditional sorts of anime characters who have an age non-specific youthful energy to them, 2 of them are played by 50-plus-year-old men.
Yeah.
Well, now 3 of them are, because Jim Carrey. You know, it's Jim Carrey, Idris Elba, and Keanu Reeves.
Well,
There's also
Jim Carrey is at least Robotnik, but also I feel like there's some part of me that feels like Robotnik could be like a Gordy situation where everyone's like, oh, you're like 55, right? And he just looks at you like, I'm 34 years old, thank you very much.
We know he's got to be at least under 50 because Maria died 50 years ago.
Okay.
But he's young. He's old enough that he remembers his older cousin.
Right.
So he's got to be at least like 55-ish.
I don't know why I'm looking him up on the wiki like I'm going to get an answer.
Do you love the Ken Pendersian knowledge that you're about to find out, Saturn?
You don't
it's not knowledge I'm about to find out. I unfortunately have known that knowledge for a very long time.
The problem with giving Sonic characters established ages is that this means the entirety of the Sonic lore has happened within a year.
Well, yeah, just like Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah.
By the way, you guys can't see it, but the face Oates just made of me for saying that Final Fantasy 14 happens in a single
I had an
year.
aneurysm.
she just been like,
Don't say that. So what people are pointing out on Twitter, there's a funny bit, which is that in the movie, Sonic is obsessed with Keanu Reeves as an actor and loves the movie Speed, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
So they're hoping there is a joke where Sonic says, you sound like Keanu Reeves, and Shadow has no idea what he's talking about.
I hope so. That'd be great.
Who the hell are you talking about?
Dude, no.
That was also a great Reeves impression. Thank you, Saturn.
One of the rumors about the story of this, by the way, is that Robotnik has gotten depressed since getting his ass kicked by Sonic in the last movie, and gained a lot of weight.
Oh no. Okay. So that's how we finally get our fat Robotnik.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Oh god. All right. What's next? How many more of these we have to go? It's been 2 hours.
Just a couple more. We talked about it a little bit already, but yeah, Hades 2 is giving fans their first chance to get their hands in the game. Not me though.
Not me though. I saw that new art of Aphrodite.
Yeah, they're posting all the new art of all the characters, and it's like that could be me though.
I can't play it.
I can't play.
Aphrodite.
Oh.
Also, again,
Miss
like
Celine.
I know I've said this before for the original reveal, but it's the improvement on Hades and the only way you could have improved it for me, which is I get to play as a girl.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's it. Suddenly, it's gone up a point.
I think
That's
the funny thing is I have not seen any gameplay yet, just screenshots of the gods.
That's correct.
I'm pretty sure that there's like NDA for that one.
No. I don't think so. I think
Everybody just wants to be thirsty at the gods. I get
That's
it.
true.
Yeah, maybe when I get in, I'll have something to talk about. Soon.
Yeah, I'm
We'll
excited. I'm excited for this thing to finally start coming out in patches and pieces and bits. So yeah.
Hopefully, it's not as long as Hades 1's early access was, because they've have been developing it and hopefully had money from the phenomenal success of the first one and know how they're making the game. I'm just hoping that like the game, like if they're doing early access, that's fine. I'm hoping the game comes out in the next year, maybe would be nice.
Like the actual full game comes out in the next year or so.
If I have to wait like
half.
fucking 3 years for Hades 2 to come out, I'm gonna be really cross with Supergiant.
Yeah, same here.
I like those games a lot. They a lot of production goes into them. They should not take that long to make, I don't think.
No.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's fine.
But then again, they're not Team Cherry.
No, hey, at least Hades 2 is definitely coming out, unlike Silksong.
Yeah. At least you can play a version of Hades 2.
Yeah.
Exactly. It definitely for sure exists. Unlike Silksong, which I don't believe exists anymore. I think they're just...
I think it was about to exist, and then that Unity thing happened.
That's what I think too.
And they pulled the trigger and went, no, we have to rebuild the entire game and go to...
That's what I believe too, is they definitely got sabotaged by the Unity thing.
Well, because the thing is, Unity, apparently Unity has already basically walked all that shit back, but they're still, they're having the D&D OGL reaction of, no, we don't want to be on the hook for when they decide they think they can try to pull this shit again.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I think they're rebuilding the entire game of Godot as we speak.
Yeah. They're not taking any chances in the event that game, or that Unity, decides, no, actually, we can get away with this time, right? So no, they're not gonna, no. Yeah. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So but Silksong definitely is back into not existing. But hey, Hades 2 is real and we can play it at some point in our human lives, probably before Remake Part 3 comes out, so,
It's going to be really funny when Silksong 2 finally comes out and I'm 40 years old, and it's just a 7 on 10 in the exact way the first game was a 7 on 10.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's just going to be, because, wasn't Silksong supposed to originally just be, a DLC?
Yeah, it was supposed to just
Hollow Knight?
It was a DLC for Hollow Knight that just spun off into being its own game.
Yeah,
and it can't be that different.
They did 4 DLCs for Hollow Knight, and none of them were Silksong.
So Silksong can't be that different if it's just conceived as DLC. So
I think it has the Saints Row the Third DLC spins into Saints Row 4 issue where they realized as they were making it, oh, this is a little too big.
Right, it's like Tears of the Kingdom.
What I think is also very likely, it's because the whole thing is that you play as you play as your Virgil, right? And I think it's literally just they went well, if we're gonna make a thing where you play as your Virgil, we can't just use the same maps or whatever because she's gonna have her own movement techniques.
Right.
And then they went well, okay, we should build her own areas. And then when they get into that, it's well, if we're going to build her own areas, we may as well build several. And, we're turning this into a full game.
We've made a whole video game. Aw, beans. Okay.
Oops.
Well, we have committed to making a full video game. They very clearly not made a full video game, or we're not playing it.
And then they didn't make a full video game.
They had a full video game that was probably pretty close, and then Unity happened.
That's correct.
Next, Fallout 4 currently Europe's best-selling game almost a decade after release.
The player count numbers for Fallout 4, Fallout 76, and Fallout New Vegas in comparison to Starfield are so funny
according to
now.
Eurogamer, and I don't know where these numbers are coming from, sales rose 7,500% across Europe.
That's awesome.
After the show.
That's so funny. That rules.
I love that, by the way, the state of buying video games in Europe is such that a bump from a TV show for a franchise that hasn't put out a real game in nearly 10 years is such that it's like, oh no, it's now obliterating the charts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's the best-selling game in Europe right now because everyone's like, oh, well, we want to play Fallout after we watch the show. Why not?
I'm doing the thing that I should never do because it's too funny, but I'm going on SteamDB and looking at Starfield because I want to see what the current player counts are.
And then we also have to see New Vegas, 76,
of course.
4.
I have 76
you know what?
as
The player counts for Starfield aren't terrible right now, but that's to say they're consistent with where they've been for the last... since November.
What is it?
It is currently 4,300 players. High end is about 8,200, which was 2 days ago. Low end is sub 3,000, and that kind of fluctuates regularly with time periods and whatever.
Sure.
Let's compare to Fallout 4. That seems to be the one to do. Let's compare to Fallout 4.
It's probably brutal.
Fallout 4. Ooh! Oh no!
That bad, huh?
The current Fallout player cap, which actually no, I'm going to compare it to 24-hour peak because that's significantly easier to compare. The 24-hour peak for Starfield is 5,700. About.
Okay.
The 24-hour peak for Fallout 4, and this is on Steam, by the way. This is on Steam, so it's not counting Game Pass, whatever. 24-hour peak on Fallout 4 on Steam is 120,000.
Oh no!
Get fucked, idiot.
Oh no, that's so
99,359 players right now.
So, let's do 76.
Sure, Fallout 76, let's see.
24-hour peak.
They probably got a sizable bump for that.
They're also doing better than Starfield. They are currently at a 24-hour peak of 54,000.
Wow.
Nice.
Whoa,
that
is way bigger.
More than that. Fallout 76's all-time Steam peak 2 days ago at 73,000.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's amazing.
This might save 76.
This actually probably will save 76, yeah.
Their prior highest at any point in the last, 3 years was in 2021, and it was half their all-time peak from 2 days ago.
That's amazing.
Wow.
And for last bit, while we're here, because we may as well just be thorough, let's check Fallout New Vegas, because that one's relevant. Fallout New Vegas, right now, 36,000 players in game. Fallout New Vegas currently has 9 times the Steam players of the amount of people who are currently playing Starfield.
Yeah, and to get Fallout New Vegas, the thing about yes, Fallout New Vegas has significantly less numbers than Fallout 4, right?
Right, of course.
But the thing is, to get New Vegas running on a modern machine,
you have to do mod work.
You have to do so much work.
You have to install a tool that uncaps its RAM because it only uses 2 gigabytes of RAM because it was a 360 game.
Exactly. So even with the amount of work it takes to play Fallout New Vegas, it is still
doing better.
Starfield out of the water. It's amazing.
I mean, I need to believe that Bethesda is pivoting on something.
God, I hope so. No, here's the thing. Bethesda probably doesn't want to. I'm sure Todd and Emil don't feel great about it, considering they were barely involved in the show's production. And again, this is currently destroying Starfield and Steam numbers. But you know who is paying attention to that shit and is willing to point a gun at their head? Is Microsoft, who owns them.
Yes.
I will say, I will say the numbers have been definitely been working in 76's favor, because they moved the timetable for that map expansion such that it was supposed to come out in November. It's coming out like it's already in the playtest servers, and it's coming out either next month or early June.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
So like they are at least giving 76 more resources, which is good because that video game was basically dead, and now it's like, oh shit, we should probably pay attention to it. So, like, yeah, it's very funny. I do really, really hope this means that, one, like we talked about earlier, the Fallout 3 remaster is real. And two, I really hope this means that Microsoft showed up at fucking Bethesda's door like, we are letting somebody else make 5. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Also, here's the thing. Here's one more interesting statistic. You know how Fallout 76 currently has 51,000 players to Starfield's currently less than 5,000 players? SteamDB has a thing called owner estimations, where it cites like different websites that have like their own ways of calculating the amount of people who they expect own this game on Steam. Because Steam doesn't really publish those numbers, but they have their own ways of calculating like what the expected amount of people that they have are. By all accounts, all of the websites they use suggest that the same amount of people own Fallout 76 on Steam as own Starfield.
Amazing.
There's the low ball number is around 2 million, the high ball number is around 5 million.
Okay.
And Fallout 76 currently has 10 times the amount of players.
That's so bad.
Okay, I'm gonna check something on SteamDB just because I wanna compare one more number here.
Okay.
Let me just pull up two of these to compare them.
What you looking at?
I'm so nervous.
So the all-time peak on Twitch, because it shows the Twitch stats too. The all-time peak for Starfield was 543,000.
Sure.
Fallout 4 was less than half of that at 244,000.
Sure, because that was a long time ago.
The Twitch viewers right now for Starfield,
hundreds, right? Optimistically.
Who wants to take a guess?
I'm going to say I'm not going to look. I'm going to say 300.
700.
3 dozen.
Ooh, low.
Oates is the closest without going over.
What?
96.
Oh!
Oof.
Does anyone want to take a shot what the Twitch viewers are for Fallout 4 right now?
Oh, I'm certain it's at least 5,000.
Mm-hmm. That's my guess too.
I'm also gonna say, actually, just to maybe win, I'm gonna say 6,000.
Sara is the highest without going over. 12,000.
Oh shit!
I actually the other day I saw I was watching one of the streamers who I follow, and they had a very funny bit of he's playing like this big like Fallout Wabbajack that's like it's like a Tale of Two Cities or Tale of Two Wastelands Wabbajack, right? So it's for Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, the same thing. His bit was, I'm going to make a bad shitty version of the TV show, and what he has is a chat command that will randomly, he'll get like a 3, 2, 1 on screen, and it will like letterbox and start recording a clip. And then the clip will cut off after a random amount of time. And so he's just trying to do shit for the camera. And after a certain amount of time, these clips will be compiled into a 2 or 3 minute episode.
Amazing.
And completely illegible. It was a really fun stream.
That's awesome.
I love it.
That's delightful.
Because also, it's really hard to mug for the camera when you don't have any idea how long it's going to be before you get a cut.
Yeah,
so there's tons of cuts where he just gets obviously cut off in the middle of his first sentence, and other ones where he's stalling for time because he's run out of things to say.
That's so good.
That's
okay.
awesome.
That rules. Oh god. Well, it's brutal out there for Starfield, but you know what? We love it for Fallout, folks.
Yes.
We love to see it. Folks, you love to see it.
We love to see. I love looking at the numbers of 96 to 12,000.
It's so good.
There's something that
I have breaking news that I'm going to DM to you because I need someone else to see it, who's not me, so I don't feel like I'm going insane.
I'm going to put this as the title card because this fits in with our next article.
Great. If you're listening to this right now, just look at the title card for the episode.
He's caked!
Hello.
Tom Berry got cake!
Final Fantasy XIV's Naoki Yoshida promises fix to lifeless eyes in graphical update.
Let's see.
I mean,
So we did that, but we did the benchmark, and I didn't see any problem with it.
well,
I thought the eyes looked fine.
the thing is that people are stupid and don't understand. Like, yeah, the eyes can look lifeless in certain like shadows because now the eye shines they're real time. It's not just like a texture painted on.
They're like dynamic.
They're dynamic, right? It changes with the lighting instead. So yeah, sometimes
I think
you'll be in shadow and there won't be any like light sources, and so it makes your eyes look a little like there's no shine on them, right?
right.
It's like, okay,
I think it's very interesting that this benchmark happened, and the responses were either "My wool has never looked more beautiful. This is amazing," or "I have to kill him now."
I have to take old Yeller out back. I was very pleased with mine.
Mm-hmm.
I will be happy when I can see modded Narin with the changes.
Yeah.
I don't think I can ever go back to vanilla Narin. Unfortunately, there's no amount of updating the character models you can do to make the gender dimorphism in Aura not extremely sickening and cowardly. However, my Mikote look fine.
I hope. Mikote got a huge overhaul. I'm very glad that Claire's mouth is now closed fully.
Yeah,
he doesn't have a weird constant overbite.
Yeah,
like he's John Egbert.
Right.
Yeah, it's very weird. I think the benchmark looked fine.
It's just one of those things where like everyone has been staring directly at their Warrior of Light for years and years and years now. So when even one thing is slightly off, you can obviously tell.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
My Apri looks great as a boy. I'm still trying to figure out how to make girl Viera Apri look good.
I will say my one big complaint with the new character faces, and it sounds like they're already going to fix it, is the mouths all look very weird. I think like the lips in specific, the hard line between lip and skin looks very strange on basically everybody. Like Radika turned out okay, but that's because she's dark skinned. So that line doesn't look as obvious. But I've been seeing on some like Viera and Aura where it's like the line between pale skin and pink lip is like really harsh. It's not blended as well as it needs to be.
I've also sent y'all that screenshot of when I was like looking at Ulterior and Ulia in the character thing, and like Ulia looks great, like best Ulia's ever looked. Mm-hmm. The changes to the lighting on skin take very pale Ulterior and make her look like that one photo of that Irish wrestler where it has like a bunch of like white text over him, but his skin on his stomach is so blown out it just completely obliterates the text. Like she has got that downright vampiric hex tag FFFFFF.
Yeah.
She is pure white, like the driven although they did
a little bit of procurement for her white ass.
Yeah, although they did point out for some reason the gamma levels on the benchmark are turned up all the way to 50. Like
why?
I don't know, because it's a benchmark made by insane people. So it doesn't even have an ability to turn on VSync. So like
it was explained to me at least by Magus why that is, and it makes sense, which is it's going to look bad. Unfortunate. I really wish they had a version that I could run where I don't care about the score. I just want to see it with all the settings on.
Right.
Sure.
They turn the VSync off because they're trying to generate as many frames as possible, and that's how they score you. Because your score is just the amount of frames they generate during the runtime.
Okay, right. I see.
And so, like, if they turn on VSync, it's like, well, you're going to be capping your score to a flat 60, and it's going to, like, maybe report your score is lower than it would be. Is like, say, if you could, like, get a 10,000 or a 15,000 or whatever, and it says reporting, like, a 5,000.
I think...
That makes sense.
I want to say, I think the meanest thing that Dawn Trail did with this test is make custom ending screens based on your performance.
Oh yeah, they've always done that. They rule.
I think it's very mean to be
And
like
very
poor,
funny.
and it just shows the warrior of light with no friends around them.
You think... I think it is perfect. I think
so
it needs to
funny.
be mean-spirited because sometimes
So-
they need to tell you your computer's not going to be
Upgrade,
enough.
asshole.
There's a bit in Like a Dragon 7 and Infinite Wealth where you can go to a vocational school and you can get like your persona stats, you can get them boosted by taking exams. If you pass the exam, then Ichiban like holds out his certificate, and like the crowd's like they hoist him up on on their shoulders and they bounce him up and down like he's in a concert, and everyone's all happy. If you fail the exam, Ichiban holds up his certificate like he's winning, and there's people walking around and avoiding eye contact with him.
It's so funny.
And that's how I feel when I see someone who's like poor performance.
That's so funny.
Here's the thing. I don't get what people are saying about the scoring at the end of the benchmark being mean. I would simply always score above 10,000. And so I was feeling very supported as I was surrounded by all these friends
All
who
your
were cheering
friends?
me on. And like, I just don't understand what people say when then they report there's some version of this benchmark where you don't have any friends because your computer's too bad. I just don't get it.
Have you seen the worst one, Insufficient?
No.
So if you get insufficient, you're just automatically play dead on the floor. and there's only like 3 or 4 people there.
I think it works though because again, it's like this is a social game, and as much as people say you don't pay my sub, if you're like, no, I can run this on my toaster, and like you just constantly get hit by attacks because you're running at 20 frames per second, you're actively making other people's time with the game worse.
It's
Like, what's your
again,
problem?
the Dan Olsen video. Why it's rude to suck at World of Warcraft.
I
Also
think it's-
applies to Final Fantasy 14.
It's rude to suck at FF14, yes. What's even ruder is to like suck not because you're bad, but because you're like, no, I just don't think I'll be a Wi-Fi warrior. It's fine.
Yeah, no,
Don't
I
be
can
a
do
Wi-Fi
it.
warrior.
I don't play competitive like one-on-one duel games because like I currently, with the way my house is set up, don't have the option to do a wired connection for fucking anything.
Yeah.
And so I don't, because like I'm gonna have a bad time, and
That's
the person
right.
I'm playing with is gonna have a bad time.
That's right.
And so it's a bad time.
Guy who has only played Smash Ultimate online playing Street Fighter 6. I don't see a problem.
that one Shikitono meme image, just like Wi-Fi's okay if you're close to the router. Doing the face we used for the Avalon LaFay spoiler cast with Amara. Oh wait, no, we didn't use that one. We used a different one. Never mind.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
We put him in the fucking summer outfit with the Disco Elysium, you like fumbling a BBW text or whatever behind it.
Oh, God.
Anyway, one more. All the announcements from the Nintendo Spring Indie World event.
Oh.
A bunch of cute games. The biggest highlights were SteamWorld Heist. A game called Lorelei and the Laser Eyes.
Okay.
Which
That's
looks
my
like
favorite circa 2008 steampunk band.
Yeah.
which looks like a very like moody, aesthetic, kind of like a Suda 51 game.
Okay.
Point and click adventure style puzzle thing.
Do we know it's not a Suda 51 game?
It is by the team that made Year Walk and Sayonara Wild Hearts.
Okay, so it's not. But like that.
Okay.
Okay. I haven't played those games, but they always are at least visually interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one that I'm most interested in is TMNT Splintered Fate, which is a TMNT roguelike that kind of looks like Hades with Ninja Turtles in it.
That feels like a thing that should have happened a long time ago.
Yes.
Right?
There was a whole like renaissance like on the PS4, like where we're getting like new Power Rangers games and shit.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it should have happened then.
So yeah, not a whole lot of, and then it's just your typical cozy puzzle, which farming witch games. That whole aesthetic.
Oh, speaking of the Nintendo Switch and the video games being announced for it that I wish I could play literally anywhere else, this is a late addition from me, but I saw it earlier and it made me very happy. Is that apparently the developers for SMT5 Vengeance announced that Vengeance is going to have like an additional like 70 hours of content in it over the base release of the game, which was already a 70-hour RPG.
It's really funny that like Atlas is so committed to like telling you straight up that the first version of their video game is like a beta, but you have to pay for it twice.
Yeah.
It's weird. I am increasingly like, I really want to play Metaphor ReFantazio. I probably won't for 2 years because there's a non-zero chance that we'll get like a re-edit version that adds more shit, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna get like Metaphor ReFantazio Mezzaforte or something like that.
Right.
And it's gonna have like 40 hours of new content and new romance and NPC and whatever in it.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see the
thing is before you continue,
yeah.
I do think the thing is though I think SMT is a little bit different because what this is them doing is the thing they did with SMT4, which is SMT4 had SMT4, and then it had SMT4 Apocalypse, which was a standalone, completely different video game that like used a lot of the same shit but was a different video game.
Right.
But for this, they're just like, well, people want SMT5 on other platforms.
Yeah.
And we want to make SMT5 Apocalypse. So we'll just put them in the same thing because file size doesn't matter.
We'll just put them together.
You get an
fine.
SMT5 with your SMT for free with your SMT5 Vengeance.
Right, that makes sense.
Anyway, Ben, what were you saying?
You will be able to. You will have. They confirmed you will have Persona style social links in Metaphor ReFantazio, but no romance.
There's no romance in Metaphor ReFantazio, yeah.
Well, that actually does a significant amount to blunt my interest for the game, because it's like, you're telling me I have to play as a boy and I can't kiss the redheaded elf?
Yeah, exactly. So I can definitely wait.
Yeah, I'll wait. I'll wait for reviews. I like I was saying in the Discord, my canary in a coal mine instinct has kicked in extremely for Metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it looks beautiful, I'm waiting to hear what people think.
Yeah.
Because I was interested in Tales of Arise before that came out, and I was like, you know what? I'll let Ben and Sarah canary.
I was also very interested in Tales of Arise when it was coming out.
Yeah, I just had that gut feeling of, you know what? I can afford to wait to see what people think.
That's correct.
That's the joy of inching closer to 30 years old, is I have just completely lost like 85% of my rush to get to anything.
Oh god, same here. I feel like whatever, it's fine.
I feel like I'm gonna end up liking Unicorn Overlord more than Metaphor ReFantazio.
I honestly, I'm thinking that's distinctly likely for me as well.
Yeah, that's extremely possible. Yeah, so
there's just some part of me now. It's like, well, if I don't get to a game that I was interested in playing, I'm just like, well, it's the game's fault for not having been cool enough to trick me into play it.
Yeah,
it's not on me; it's on them. Exactly.
It's their fault. They should have catered to me specifically more.
This year, I've really started to realize exactly when my interest in something is waning.
Mm-hmm.
It's the year I've fully realized how much time I'm spending on Twitter during cutscenes versus actually paying attention.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'm willing to wait for Metaphor ReFantazio. And I'll probably wait on SMT Vengeance because there's a bunch of other stuff coming out at around that same time that I'd much rather play, like Dawn Trail and Tsukihime Re. So, you know.
Oh god. Do we know if that's getting a simultaneous PC release?
Which one?
Tsukihime?
I think so.
Because I was thinking, like, oh man, if it's only on consoles, I don't have to buy it immediately. Because
No, I
I'm
think
not
it's
gonna
also getting
I'm
a
not gonna
PC
play
release.
Tsukihime on a Switch.
No, God, no. But I think it's also getting a simultaneous PC release.
Oh, it's not listed on Steam currently, so it might actually be
Delay?
a Mahoyo situation where it's like
Right.
it not coming out until several months later, maybe.
Well, we'll see. Either way, there's other stuff I want to play before I play SMT5. I would like to give it a shot at some point because I know the game whips ass. I would like to play it on a console or a computer that can run it good instead of a Switch that runs it very badly. So,
Yeah, I'm positive whenever you get around to that, if you play it on Steam with a controller, you'll actually just get a 60 frames per second
yeah,
Shin Megami
exactly.
Tensei game,
So
which is, you know, what you want.
that's what you want, turns out. Okay. Are we done?
Yep, that will be it.
We're free! That actually wasn't too bad.
Yeah, no,
That actually
there was a lot to talk about.
There was a lot to talk about in terms of Fallout.
Yeah.
Which makes me happy.
Especially.
Which makes me personally happy whenever we get to talk about Fallout.
Yeah, I quite personally love talking about Fallout.
I'm gonna grab the reins on our sign off really early.
Oh.
Fuck Hank McClane.
Fuck Hank McClane. Yeah,
And
what's
don't-
up?
And don't fuck with those chickens.
Don't fuck those chickens.
Under no circumstances should you fuck the chickens.
Even
But
if
if
you
you-
got serums of foot restoration, you should not fuck those chickens.
You took my joke! You bastard!
Should have said it faster. Skill issue.
I know, skill issue. It's on me.
Should've said it faster.
Saturn's got the fastest bad jokes in the West.
Yeah. Thank
That's
you
right.
to Ed Venturia for use of our background music. You can follow us all on our social medias. You can email us at thegorgepodcast@gmail.com. You can join our Discord. And again, patreon.com/thegorge. And yeah. Fuck Hank McClane.
Fuck Hank McClane.
How could you do that, Coop?
could you do
Walton
that,
Goggins
Coop?
is the cool voice.
Walt-
Saturn Video Games is the Joker.
The Joker.
I'm the
Yes.
Joker, baby.
I can't believe that. Actually, I guess I can, but it's very funny that Hank McClane's wife left him for
A smoking hot baddie chick.
smoking
Yeah.
pot baddie chick. Yeah,
no
fucking rules.
disrespect to Kyle MacLachlan, who you know is a
He's very
is a
attractive man.
He's incredible. He's an incredibly attractive man. He's a very
Sure.
charismatic man.
We love
If
him.
I was Hank McClane's wife, I would have also left him for Moldaver.
Yeah.
That's correct. 'Cause
Like,
she's
zero
she's a baddie.
question.
Yeah,
She's
just
a
like stone
baddie,
cold
and
baddie.
she's like a revolutionary politic, like direct action type. You know,
yeah,
not like
she's extremely cool, and
she's
we
not
love
what
her.
you would call a fuddy-duddy.
No,
Mhm.
not like Hank McClane, who's just a fucking goober. You know,
The fuddiest of all duddies, that Hank.
That's
McClane.
right. But even if we love Dale Cooper, we don't love Hank McClane, but we love Cooper Howard. It's a very confusing circle to be in, folks.
It's this guy's
fuck
named
who-
Coop.
Yeah, the thing is, fuck whoever wrote the Fallout TV show to have technically two Coops in it. It's
Yeah.
very confusing sometimes.
Also,
Right.
the show did us weird by having a Twin Peaks duo in it with
Chet
Jet and Norm. Yeah,
Chet and Norm. Excuse me.
yeah. Who were,
Also,
who
and
were
again,
just
like,
a duo, a Twin Peaks duo.
And like Chet and Steph are a Twin Peaks heterosexual relationship.
That's
Yeah.
correct. So
Yeah.
Speaking of bad TV heterosexual relationships, I've watched enough TNG to say fuck Rick Berman finally.
that's correct.
My God, I watched like 6 Deanna episodes in a row. I
That's
hated
so
them.
bad. Listen, I will always be saying fuck Rick Berman because like I don't know why he keeps pairing Worf with like the kind of women he keeps pairing Worf with.
No,
It
I
never
respect the
works.
audacity.
It never works. It's
the
always
ships
like,
the ships are bad, but I respect the how
The
just
commitment?
committed you have to be to the
Yes!
idea of like any heterosexual relationship could work. To go, you know what? You know who Worf would be good with for an episode? Deanna Troy.
yeah, Troy. No, it's so bad. It's so it keeps getting worse. Yeah, no, you should never let Rick Berman write women, but they keep letting him do it for some reason.
The people who make the money thing happen like that he keeps finding convenient excuses to put women in 80s workbout outfits.
That's right. He's such a criminal is the thing. I hate his ass to death.
Fuck you, Rick Berman.
Fuck you, Rick Berman. Fuck Rick Berman.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.